every morning before the rush, before the arguments, before the headlines begin to chase us.
There's a moment to pause, to listen, to understand what truly matters. This is where the day begins.
Mr. Ken Oforiatta, a man who has run away from his own people he once served. We believe in the spirit of accountability. It is important for him to come and answer charges preferred against him by the state.
On the AM show, the news is not just read, it is examined. The stories shaping your life, explained with clarity, handled with care. We ask the questions without fear.
If your constituency cannot grow enough tomato for Ghanaians, then there's something wrong with your constituency.
My name is Emefa Akosua Adeti.
And I am Samuel Kojo.
Two voices, one purpose, holding the powerful to account, putting your interests first in every conversation.
No noise, no spin, just facts, context, and the courage to ask the right questions.
Start your day informed, start your day empowered. The AM show on Joy News is definitely worth waking up for.
Joy News, independent,
fearless, credible. Well, good morning, and welcome to the AM show on Joy News. It's a new week, and I hope that your week is blessed with everything that you choose and desire this week. My name is Emefa Akosua Adeti, and I'll do this with the Ahanta Pili, Samuel Kojo a little later. A lot of matters arising this morning, and on the review today, fresh legal troubles for former NAFCO CEO Hanan Abdul-Wahab Aludiba and his wife Faiza Seidu Wuni, as the Attorney General files 20 criminal charges against the couple, including stealing, money laundering, and causing financial loss to the state. We shall examine whether the latest prosecution marks a turning point in his existing case. Now, also, questions continue to swirl around the arrest and detention of the Asante Achim North MP over alleged money laundering offences. What are the legal implications, jurisdiction here, and even the sovereignty of our laws in this country? And how far can this matter go from here? And also, the IMF is pushing Ghana to fast-track private sector participation in ECG, arguing the energy sector remains a major risk to the economy. But organized labor says privatization is not the answer. We debate the future of ECG and Ghana's power sector reforms here on the show. Plus, with Ghana edging towards or closer to the IMF exit, is the country's finally turning the corner economically? It's a question by the end of the conversation you and I will arrive at an answer to. And joining us this morning is Amanda Akwa-Clinton, lawyer and head of chambers at Clinton Consultancy. Lomluku Ahlija is a lawyer, lecturer, and energy analyst. Don Kofu is Deputy Director of Finance and Administration at the National Service Authority. Alfred Thompson is former Deputy Director of the NIB and National Treasurer Aspirant for the NPP. Later on the show, we'll bring you what's happening in the trends, everything that you may have missed, stories making waves online. Right now, though, kindly stay for the news updates with Denise. I would appreciate all of your comments, reactions via all of our social media handles. Do have a great week with us here on the Joy News channel.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
Hello, good morning and welcome aboard to the AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaije and our very first story. A tidal wave disaster that struck Mori on Saturday has displaced more than 80 residents, with authorities attributing the incident to climate change, human activities along the coastline, and ongoing sea defense projects in parts of the central region. During a visit to assess the extent of damage caused, the Central Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Emmanuel Kwesi Dawood, he called for urgent humanitarian support for affected residents and stressed the need for long-term interventions to protect lives and property in the coastal communities.
The tidal wave incident which struck Mori on Saturday displaced more than 80 residents, destroyed properties, and brought normal life in the fishing community to a standstill. With several families stranded and struggling to salvage their belongings, affected residents are urgently appealing to government and other relevant agencies for immediate relief and support. We need urgent help from our president, our DC and our MP, Honorable Ofosu-Kwakye. More than 80 of us are displaced and have lost our homes. We have nowhere to shelter our children. So we need urgent assistance, particularly shelter. We are pleading with our leaders and NGOs to extend a helping hand to us.
Wabua ankranko no watiana nka rebi ayedu awunyanyem enya baby na yedie ni trato.
The tides have swept away all our money and belongings. It has been difficult getting a place to sleep. We are pleading with governments for support. During a visit to the area following the disaster, Central Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Emmanuel Kwesi Dawood, outlined temporary interventions being rolled out to assist victims, describing the condition of displaced residents as dire and deeply concerning.
These 80 victims have been rendered homeless. NADMO Directorate from AAK, the region operations in the EOC, the National Security, and the Assembly officials have to be here to ensure that the victims, fortunately for us, the National Coping Mechanism assisted us drastically by way of pairing the families, the affected victims with their extended family partners. And they are currently being cramped or housed in overcrowded extended family halls, which is also not the ideal solutions. This is a fishing community, and their mainstay of occupation is fishing. So their fishing gears and other things have been carried away by the tidal waves.
He further renewed calls for swift humanitarian assistance, while stressing the urgent need for sustainable long-term measures to protect vulnerable coastal communities in the central region.
It is not just the collapse of bricks and mortar, but as indicated earlier on, it is an existential threat that needs to be tackled head-on by, first and foremost, appealing for the humanitarian assistance by way of relief distribution. Then we'll look at permanent long-term engineering solutions, not just for Mori Beach, but all the coastal towns in the central region of Ghana.
From Mori, Abigail Lisol-Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, petrol prices are expected to rise by 7.3% to the next pricing window, with diesel and LPG also set to increase as pressure from global oil markets and the weaker cedi continues to push fuel costs higher. There's more in the following report.
Based on data from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, petrol prices are expected to rise by between 5.29% and 7.30%, potentially taking the price of a litre to 15 cedis 42 pesos. Diesel could go up by as much as 7.30%, with a litre projected to sell at 17 cedis 83 pesos. Liquefied petrol gas is also expected to increase by 3%, which could push the price of a kilogram to 17 cedis 10 pesos. These projections are based on oil marketing firms that buy products on credits from bulk oil distributors. According to the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, the increase is being driven by higher international market prices and renewed pressure on the Ghana cedi. The local currency, for instance, depreciated slightly against major trading currencies. For the May 16, 2026 pricing window, the cedi moved from 11.205 Ghana cedis to 11.3133 Ghana cedis to the dollar, representing a 0.59% decline. At the same time, average crude oil prices eased slightly in mid-May, falling from $113.08 per barrel to $112.07 per barrel, a 1.52% decrease. However, the near halt of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz during the 10-week conflict continues to disrupt shipment of crude oil, gas and refined fuel to global markets, adding pressure to energy prices and rising inflation concerns. The government says it has continued measures to cushion consumers from the impact of rising petrol prices on the international market. In a statement signed by Richmond Roxon, spokesperson and head of communications at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, the government said the decision followed a cabinet meeting chaired by President John Dramani Mahama, during which developments on the global petrol market were reviewed.
Now, malaria, anemia, hypertension and cataracts have emerged as major health conditions of concern in the Asin South District, prompting renewed calls for the public to prioritize regular medical checkups. Speaking during a health and social outreach program organized by the Daniel Linto Obisi Foundation, optometrist Obed Amwa also called on government to improve access to quality health care, particularly in underserved communities.
More than 200 residents of Asina Chiase and Asina Samankese in the Asin South District of the Central Region benefited from the first health and social outreach program of the year, organized by the Daniel Linto Obisi Foundation. President of the foundation, Elizabeth Obisi, said the initiative is aimed at complementing government's efforts to improve livelihoods, particularly in underserved communities.
I believe that healthcare is paramount to human development. We have to be healthy before we can do our farming or any activity that we are undertaking. We have to be first and foremost healthy. But we realize that the government alone cannot shoulder this kind of responsibility. So individuals, philanthropists, non-profit making organizations are expected to support government initiatives in this direction. That's why at DINOF, which is Daniel Into Obese Foundation, is one of our primary objectives to do this. And we don't only provide the healthcare, we also provide clothing for the community, because we realize that sometimes they are in need of such clothing. And anytime we have brought such clothing, so you could see the happiness and the joy that the community expresses. So we are happy that we are able to also support government in this regard.
Speaking during the outreach, optometrist with the foundation, Dr. Obed Amwa, while raising concerns over some health conditions detected during the exercise, urged the public to prioritize regular medical checkups and called on government to improve access to health care, especially quality eye care services in deprived communities.
We recommend that people frequently seek medical care. They don't have to wait till they are critically ill before they go for checkup. You can decide to go for a checkup once every year. And then when it comes to government, it's imperative that government ensures that eye care, access to eye care is made available to every community. For instance, the CHIPS compound here they don't have any eye care professional. So we recommend that at least government must ensure that there's equitable distribution of eye care professionals so that people will be able to have access to quality eye care promptly. Some beneficiaries also appreciated the intervention.
The workers, how they talk to us, it's in a polite way. Yes, they are respectful and they do everything well.
Yadamasi, nya yenwa ya yentum, wa wontum ende nyinala, wa mobie duru wa hwemo framba nkakrabe nyinala. Yadamo nyina ase wo adoya moda abare yen.
From the Asin South District, Abigail Lissel Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
From the Central region, let me take you to the Upper West region. The drums were louder, the fugu brighter, and the pride unmistakable. Last Saturday, the road from Jirapa to Bolu to Funsi didn't just pass through the town. It passed through centuries of Guinean story. And at the center of it was tourism, Culture and Creative Arts Minister Abdul-Wahab Gomashi with one message. If Ghana wants to grow, it starts by selling what's already ours. Joy News' Upper West Regional correspondent travel with her and has this report.
From Jiraba to Bolu to Fancy, Ghana's culture took center stage last Saturday. The Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Abdul-Wahab Gomashi, wrapped up a tour of the Upper West region with one clear message. Ghana's heritage is our economy, and it starts here.
Every thread woven into Fugu tells a story, our story, and our resilience as a people. This is why I wish so strongly to urge all Ghanaians to consciously promote and patronize made in Ghana products, especially our beautiful fugu and other locally produced textiles and crafts.
The tour kicked off at the Royal Kojo Hill Safari Resort in Jiraba, otherwise known as Jiraba, Dubai, where the minister praised the investment and said the facility fits perfectly with Ghana's Experience Ghana and Black Star Experience tourism brand.
And I can tell you that it is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I was born by the seaside. I come from the seaside, and this is a different environment that I've experienced. And the food is good.
In Bolu, the focus shifted to history and tradition. The delegation visited the tomb of former President Dr. Hilary Mann and explored the 19th century Bolu defense wall, built by Chief Tangier Bang to protect the town from slave raids.
So when he was going through other wars, he realized that slavery was happening rapidly. So he then came with the idea that they should put up a wall around the community. So the people of Golu and other surrounding communities, including the Burkina community that are very closer to Golu, it will be interesting to know that half a kilometer inside Burkina. So we share so many things in common. So the people of Burkina, who are also around, but they are separated by tribe, and then that of other villages around Golu, they all came together and put up the wall.
The lessons include
the shrine at the entrance of the facility of the house. Traditional religion is a part of who we are. And we must, as Ghanaians, as Africans, learn to appreciate ourselves holistically.
They also had the opportunity to see the pickup that former President Dr. Heleleman was using when he left office. Local guides also shared the story of the Kalugui and Hapalong crocodile ponds, where the community and reptiles have coexisted for centuries based on mutual respect.
The first people who settled there, the woman gave birth to a child, and there was a smaller crocodile lying beside the child. So they decided to kill that small crocodile, and the child also died. So in the subsequent years, they gave birth again, there was a crocodile again beside the child. So this time around, the husband advised the wife that she shouldn't kill the child, but rather they should put the crocodile inside a pond and then put water inside. So they then put that small crocodile inside a pond with water. While the child was growing, the crocodile was equally growing.
The minister pledged support to document the oral history and develop the sites for tourism. But the climax came in Fancy in front of hundreds. The minister officially unveiled international music star Noella Woyala as Ghana's global Fugu ambassador and tourism ambassador.
And I want to tell my mommy that I have accepted this title, this honor, and I will not disappoint you. I'll make the whole Ghana proud. When I go out there, I will roar.
Community leaders say the honor puts Fancy and the Upper West on the map. Mr. Ernest Mwadi, speaking for the elders, called Fugu a symbol of identity, dignity, hard work, creativity, and heritage, and invited the minister to launch a Fugu festival in Fancy in 2027.
With continuous support, Funsi can become a major cultural tourism destination in Ghana and beyond. We already have the Woyala Arts and Cultural Center, Funsi Movie and Art Village, which, with your support, we can develop these venues into more befitting places for the promotion of creative arts industry in Funsi.
The night ended with a symbolic performance by the Molebi women's group, turning fishing into a dance and celebrating the craftsmanship of Fugu for the ministry. It was a statement. The Upper West region is ready to be positioned as Ghana's next premier destination for arts, entertainment, and heritage. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Fonsi.
Well, let's do some business stories now. The International Monetary Fund is urging the central bank to strengthen its buffers to better withstand external shocks. Speaking at a press briefing on Ghana's exit from the IMF Extended Credit Facility Program, the IMF mission lead Dr. Ruben Atoyan cautioned that rising expenditure and persistent commodity price volatility continue to pose risk to the country's economic stability.
Time discussing what the better than expected, the faster than expected fiscal consolidation and the improvements in the debt trajectory means for the fiscal space. This fiscal space is ultimately the space what the government generated by strong policies, and now which can be used going forward to support economic growth, support employment, and strategic investment in important sectors. And this was much of our discussion. I will not steal the thunder from the minister and the government in terms of the big announcements, but we understand what the strategy they're going forward. But again, strong policy effort generated additional fiscal space, and we're now discussing how to spend it. This is a remarkable turnaround for Ghana going forward. In terms of risks going forward, I think I would like to highlight two things. First is, again, related to the fiscal policy. I think we jointly managed to introduce a strong safeguards in terms of controlling government expenditures in the central government. But there are significant risks outside of the central government control, meaning in the SOE sector and quasi-fiscal activities outside of the central government. And historically, for Ghana, that was a predominant factor which drove the trajectory of the debt sustainability. It's not just the fiscal deficit itself, but also the quasi-fiscal activities and the materialization of fiscal risk outside of the central government, which generated big shocks in the debt trajectory going forward. And addressing those as part of the PCI reform agenda will be a critical thing for us to do. The second risk I would like to highlight is gold. Of course, I don't need to tell you, gold prices have been historically high, and that supported Ghana's turnaround. It's hard to predict where the gold price is going to be in the future. Commodity prices are always very volatile, especially in the uncertain geopolitical environment. But that's why much of our discussion with the authorities, with the BOG, with the Minister of Finance, is to how to build the buffers using the positive terms of trade shock for Ghana right now, and how to ensure that the economy is insulated from these shocks going forward if and when they materialize.
The Asantehene Otumfuo Seidu II is calling on political leaders to create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive and drive national development. Speaking at the UPSA at 60 Ghana Business Leaders Conclave in Accra, Asantehene stressed the need for stable economic policies, investment-friendly regulations, and stronger collaboration between government and the private sector.
For us must be the decade of business. Must be the decade in which all our energies are directed towards building a strong, resilient, ethical, and sustainable economy. Our political leaders must continue to create the right environment, provide the right policy framework, and ensure stability. But the duty to create, to innovate, to build enterprises, to create jobs, and to add value to our natural resources rests also upon citizens, entrepreneurs, professionals, and institutions such as this university. In today's world, business is the driver of prosperity. In the United States, in China, in India, in Japan, in Singapore, in Vietnam, and across the rising economies of the world, prosperity is being driven by enterprise, innovation, technology, creativity, and bold leadership.
Well, that's it for business news. But don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Shield Silicone Paints from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and Time Herbal Mixture. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we enjoy today's moments, remember to keep your body refreshed and your energy right with Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water. Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water is not just any water. It's natural and mineral rich that keeps you going. So whether you're dancing, cheering, networking, or simply enjoying the moment, Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water helps you stay cool, refreshed, and fully present. So grab a bottle, available in 500 ml, 20-liter jars, and sachets. For bulk purchase or inquiries, call 055-2250-290. And that's it for the AM News. For more news, please do log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Denicia Pomaide. Up next is sports. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a lovely Monday.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind the ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Oh yeah, clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we set the bliss. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you.
Puma Drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome to Sulas Enterprise, the shop that deals in industrial machinery such as generators, rice millers, water pumps, compressors, and mowers. From the smallest to the largest capacity, at Sulas Enterprise, we give you nothing but the best from the best brands such as Honda and Perkins. When it comes to our generators, we also sell mowers coming from brands like Honda, Briggs and Straton, and Oleoma. And when it comes to our water pumps, we offer you brands like Lily, and Pedrolo water pumps. We also sell rice millers for all capacities. We are located at Spintex, Kakalika Plaza. Also, find our various locations as displayed on screen. Or call us on the following numbers: 0243-839-463 or 0554-154-416 or 0240-541-493.
Sulas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability.
Cadbury hot chocolate, crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
We'll bring you sports now on the AM show. I am Muftahu Nabila Abdullah. Ghana is exporting billions of dollars of non-traditional goods annually to the United States. The 2026 FIFA World Cup match between Ghana and England would be in Boston, and so would the Made in Ghana Expo on the 22nd and 23rd of June at the Envision Hotel in Boston.
Latina Travel and Tours, in partnership with the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, invites Ghanaian manufacturers, entrepreneurs, artisans, food and beverage processors, fashion designers, beauty and cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, real estate, banking and finance, building and constructions, and many more to leverage Ghana's World Cup moment and connect with international buyers, distributors, as well as investors in Boston, where traveling fans from all over the world will converge in Boston, the city with the strongest Ghanaian diaspora presence. The expo will showcase Ghana's most powerful commercial business exhibition and business-to-business network with U.S. companies. Register now, call to reserve a booth and enjoy massive global visibility and clinch your share in the huge U.S. export market. You call Latina on 0244-260-789 or come to Latina Travel located in the Alisa Hotels, Northridge, Accra. This Made in Ghana FIFA World Cup Expo is powered by the Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness as well as Industry. Now, if you want to experience the FIFA World Cup at the semi-final and the final stages, or if you're a corporate organization that wants to make your clients or staff happy by giving them an opportunity to experience the World Cup at ease, grander stage, you need to get in touch with Match Hospitality Experience. They are the only FIFA authorized agency who have been given opportunity to sell match tickets for the semi-final and the final. The semi-final matches will be happening on July 14 and 15, and the final will be on July 19. Get in touch with Match Hospitality Experience on 055-155-1119, 055-155-1119, or sales at matchexphospitality.com. Visit our website, www.matchexphospitality.com. I take you to the University of Ghana Stadium, where the African Athletics Senior Championships concluded on a Sunday night. Ghana's Joseph Paul Amoah, the only athlete among the lot that made it to the final of the men's 200 meters event, was unable to finish in the podium. He finished fifth in the final of the competition that was won by Ivory Coast Traore.
The 200 meters in the men's final is currently underway. There you have Check Traore in the lead. Ghana's Joseph Paul Amoah is also in contention. Then we have Kelvin. Kelvin is chasing down Kelvin. And then South Africa's Totale is in the lead. Ghana's Joseph Paul Amoah has been left behind. And it is the man who was predicted to win it, Check Traore. He is the new African champion and called Cote d'Ivoire to win the men's 4x100 meters gold medal. They did that with 38.52, and he has individually one gold for Cote d'Ivoire again. Check Traore, an excellent athlete. Of 200 meter women. He raced out from lane 7. He has done an incredible 20.47, and he has done 20.43 to be champion. There they came. 67. He knew how to do it. He knew he was fast enough. He got on the home straight and pushed harder. On a clean slate, there never appeared to be someone who was a leading candidate for gold medal. But Traore came, Traore conquered, and Traore is African champion. Botswana settles for second. South Africa is settling for third.
The next edition will be happening in Botswana. They were handed the baton to host the 2028 edition of the African Athletics Senior Championships. Now, let me take you to Ghana Olympic Committee. They are working on putting together Team Ghana for the 2026 Commonwealth Games that will be happening in Glasgow later this year. However, there are some funding concerns. The government of Ghana is here to release funds to support their preparations, and they are calling on corporate organizations to assist them to participate in the event.
Ghana has over 24 Olympic sports and more than 10 non-Olympic sports, whose athletes continue to bring honor and recognition to our nation. as corporate institutions, it is fair to support football with millions of dollars for World Cup campaigns, championships, whatever. I respectfully ask that support also be extended to the GOC and other sports federations. Even as you give football $10 million or $5 million for the World Cup, give the GOC $2 million or $1 million for the Commonwealth Games as well. When this happens, the impact on young people will be broader and more meaningful. There are many young people, many Ghanaians, from Gambanga to Accra, from Yosso to Keta, who may prefer boxing, hockey, badminton, cycling, basketball, volleyball, arm wrestling, shooting, whatever. Even if they are in a minority, they also deserve the crumbs that fall from the dinner table. That is why the establishment of the sports fund is critical. If managed properly, transparently and fairly, it will become a game changer for sports development in Ghana. We look forward to reviewing the rules and regulations governing access to the fund, and we stand ready to contribute our expertise and experience to ensure.
That is the president of Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Richard Akpokave, speaking there during the AGM over the weekend. Now, we take you to Mediama. They are champions of the Ghana Premier League. They won the title following a 5-2 victory over Heart of Lions. Second league title for Mediama FC. Let's take a look at the results of matches that were played on March 33 of the Ghana Premier League. Vision FC, they went away to beat Nations FC by 1-0. And guess what? Following the victory of Vision FC, supporters of Nations FC decided to go and deflate the ties of their head coach. And he was kept in his locker room for almost 2 hours. They deflated the ties because they wanted to get access to him. Mediama FC, just as you saw gone by, they defeated Heart of Lions by 5-2. 11 Wonders were out at home and they suffered 2-0 loss to Brekum Chelsea. Ediana Stars 1-3-1 against Young Apostle. Dreams FC 1-3-1 against Bibiani Gold Stars. Nations FC, Bechimi United rather, they 1-3-1 against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Samatex, former champions of the Ghana Premier League, 1-1-0 against House of Oak. Kerala United 1-1-0 against Swedru All Blacks, whilst Hohoi United, their game against Basake Holy Stars, It did not happen because Hoho United decided to pull out of Ghana Premier League. In fact, the GFA has asked them to return the 1 million Ghana cedis they gave to them prior to the start of the Ghana Premier League. We wait to see whether they will return that money. But from there, let me take you to the camp of Ghana's Black Starlets. They came up against Senegal on March Day 2 of the ongoing CAF Under-17 Cup of Nations in Morocco. They suffered a 1-0 loss against 10-man Senegal.
They come into this one versus Ghana with a hope to try and rescue a few points on the board because both of these teams need it. It's a very difficult group to get out of. But the under-17 to AFCON here in Morocco. Ghana here, but what can Ghana do? Set piece on point. It's a good ball in, and it's a scrappy goal, but it is a goal. So I can't hear what the referee has said, but I believe with the clapping of the Senegal players and the waving of the referee's hand, it is actually a no-goal. Osman, right on the end of that wall, exactly where Sadio would want to bend it. He does go for it. There's a lot of whip on it, and the keeper's not sure. He's taking his time. With the right foot, it's a great save by Sarr. Massive moment for Senegal. He gets the plaudits for his team. Bit of a lung-busting run here, and a good little Megs tries to lift it in. It's a great ball in. It's going to be 1-0 to Senegal. Ten-men Senegal take the lead here against Ghana. And it was quite simply an unbelievable ball that made the tap-in as easy as you like, but he still had to be there. Doing his bit for his team as the ball's not in is not quite as good this time. He's going to have a second bite at it. Lofted into the front post. There's a few Ghana players there. And again, Barfo attempting it. Oh, it's come out. It's a Ghana goal. Is it going to be an offside? Yes, it is. They look like they're rushing it. There's players at the back post. If Putti can launch it in there, he does. It went low. And that is going to be the full-time whistle. Senegal have beaten Ghana. The 10 men of Senegal have beaten Ghana.
Hazaka's ladies, they are champions of the Women's FA Cup. They defeated Army ladies by 5-3 on penalties.
Women's FA Cup final, and it's Blessing with a long hits. Linda couldn't keep it, but Comfort also got into the fray. Comfort cancel 10. There's Safwa, and it's a big turn. That's a cheeky goal there, coming from Hazaka's ladies. And it's Linda Ekbo. The fans celebrate. Oh, just watch it again. Very disastrous defending from Army ladies. And it's just tapped in by Linda Ekbo. The second. But here's a corner kick floated across. There's a lovely hit here. And it's Yano. And the half-day corners are back. And some have gone of this competition. And it's Army ladies. Talis woman who got herself somewhere. This one, it makes that the story is over for them. And it's the centre back, Adama Hassan. Yes, Adama. Adama! And that's a lovely goal there to make it 4-3. Now, here she scores. That ends it. Kuma! And it makes it. Hazakis are champions of this year's Women's FA Cup. After 120 minutes of intriguing football, they started the score via the penalty spot. 5-3, it reads 25-26. Hazakis ladies. Also, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Here come your champions for the 2025-2026 season of the Women's FA Cup. And as we get ready to present to you yours truly, it is Azakes ladies who are champions of the Women's FA Cup 2025-2026.
And we'll take you to England and bring you highlights of how Manchester City defeated Chelsea by 1-0 to win the FA Cup. Antoine Semenyo scoring the only goal, the first Ghanaian to score in the final of the FA Cup. And this is the 8th time Chelsea suffered a defeat in Wembley in a major competition final. Aston Villa also defeated Liverpool to book a spot next season's UEFA Champions League, whilst Nottingham Forest suffered a defeat against Manchester United. And this is how we wrap up AM Sports here with me, Muftaro Nabila Abla. The newspaper review is coming your way right after the highlights.
Sends a corner in and they've gone down there. Esri Konsa went down there. It comes out towards Tielemans, strikes it, save it, it's loose and it's up to... it's 3-1! And it's Ollie Watkins again! Liverpool were distracted, but the celebration is muted for the moment. As it stands, it's 3.
There is Dominguez.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabedim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. I'm in the valleys. Keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Oh yeah, clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we set the oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you.
Puma drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
Mokwanu gede be nyakponi yo mielola gado yi la aja agoma cho mokhede anuji. Belala na mama di na sese ehia yo enye belala mudododo blanu sue wowo ni
Jofa dada nanu ja agome chonya plewo belala bashad beji.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix. Taste of Ghana.
Game on. Confirm your participation. Place bets on sport. Get a free bets and weekly cashback. Take part in the prize drawings. Use promo code to get welcome bonus.
Welcome to Sulas Enterprise, the shop that deals in industrial machinery such as generators, rice millers, water pumps, compressors, and mowers. From the smallest to the largest capacity, at Sulas Enterprise, we give you nothing but the best from the best brands such as Honda and Perkins. When it comes to our generators, we also sell mowers coming from brands like Honda, Briggs and Straton, and Oleoma. And when it comes to our water pumps, we offer you brands like Lily, Prudin, and Pedrolo water pumps. We also sell rice millers for all capacities. We are located at Spintex, Kakalika Plaza. Also, find our various locations as displayed on screen, or call us on the following numbers: 0243-839-463 or 0554-154-416 or 0240-541-493.
Sulas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability.
Hey! Is your tech holding you back? Feeling lost in the maze of outdated gadgets? Relax.
When news breaks, there's no pause button. With fast-moving, developing stories, decisions are unfolding, and the nation is watching. This is News Desk, with a very fast and precise tone and attitude. 1 hour. The biggest stories, the clearest facts, politics, governance, security, the economy, not rumors, not speculation, but verified news.
It's clear that the people wanted to change the will of the people of Pandai, but the Supreme Court has affirmed the will of the people.
Backed by context, sharpened by analysis. Here, headlines are not enough. We go beyond the what to ask the why and the what next. Decision makers are questioned, policies are examined, and the facts are allowed to speak without fear, without favor. This is News Desk on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
Be an aerospace engineer. So I'm graduating at this point. I don't have a job. I don't have a business either. You know, I remember I sent, sending emails to people that had businesses on the continent. I mean, I'm sure whoever was reading the email didn't even know where Ghana was. And then for 2 years, made a lot of money in the process. And I decided to now focus on ping pong. This lady just walks out and, she's talking to her friend. She's like, ice cream, 10 cedis. And come if I go to food. Listen, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Now, since its rollout in January 2023, the Bank of Ghana has disclosed that it incurred losses of 317 million Ghana cedis in 2023 and some 1.82 billion Ghana cedis in 2024 under the Gold for Oil program. That brings the total losses to some 2.14 billion Ghana cedis in over 2 years.
In 2025, the Bank of Ghana reported a loss of 15.63 billion Ghana cedis. But without one major move, that loss would have been 33.19 billion Ghana cedis.
So what actually changed the picture? Gold. The bank sold refined gold it had accumulated under its domestic gold purchase program.
The gold was bought mainly in 2023 and 2024, when prices were relatively lower. By 2025, prices had increased. So when the bank sold it, it made 9.57 billion Ghana cedis in profit.
And there is also the savings jar effect, past gains from rising gold prices that were not actually recorded immediately.
When the gold was sold, those gains were released, adding 7.99 billion Ghana cedis.
So in total, gold delivered 17.56 billion Ghana cedis in relief. Without it, the loss jumped to 33.19 billion Ghana cedis.
So now, what was actually driving the losses underneath?
16.73 billion Ghana cedis open market operations. This is the bank paying commercial banks to hold onto excess cedis instead of lending them out. It's a standard tool used to reduce money in circulation in the economy just to cool down inflation. But in 2025, it came at a very high cost, and that's 16.73 billion Ghana cedis.
9.05 billion Ghana cedis from other gold program losses. These are trading and operational losses outside the main gold sale, including the wind down of Gold for Oil program.
The exchange rate, 5.47 billion Ghana cedis stronger cedi impact. The cedi moved from 14.7 Ghana cedis to 10 cedis 45 pesos per dollar. That sounds positive, but only for importers. Here's the issue. The bank actually holds a lot of its assets in dollar terms. So when the cedi strengthens, these dollar assets lose value when converted back into cedi, leading to 5.47 billion Ghana cedis loss.
3.29 billion Ghana cedis from personnel costs. Staff costs increased significantly, driven by a rise in employee numbers.
Just note that gold didn't solve the problem. It actually just absorbed the shock.
And without that gold intervention, the bank's 2025 financial position would have been far worse.
By midday, the day has spoken, stories have broken, events have unfolded.
We call on governments and cocoa board to pay our cocoa farmers immediately.
Now it's time to take stock. This is Joy News Today. As it happens, as it matters to you, from Accra to every region, from Parliament to the courts, our correspondents are on the beat, bringing you the latest developments, verified facts, and the context behind the headlines.
This authority is just going to be job for the men. This authority will not affect the suffering unemployed youth.
On Joy News Today, there are no fragments of speculation, but a clear picture of where the country stands right now.
Because of Galamsey, Ghanaians voted against NPP for NDC to come and do better. But the better now, no, and
so you can stay informed, stay connected, and stay ahead. Joy News Today on Joy News. Independent, fearless, and credible.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us. Time now to review the news. We've got our guest. I'll run you through the headlines on the newspapers quickly before we get to the matters arising. A lot of the matters arising are quite familiar to you. You must have heard or seen them last week, probably leaving a news file over the weekend. So we'll pick on where we have started and where we ended last week. But first of all, this morning, the Daily Graphic. Let's start with the headlines. Enough talk. Ghana must become a nation of builders. Otumfuo charges Ghanaians. You'll find details of that story in page 13 of the Daily Graphic as well. Professor Hinton named Africa's most influential marketing thinker. Story is on page 16 of the Daily Graphic this morning. A new economy module takes shape, set for 2027 budgets, $1.6 billion private sector boost for jobs. Story is on page 3, and a photo of Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, CEO, Ghana Chamber of Mines, and he's been speaking, says that large mines spend $25.2 billion locally over a decade. A story is on page 13, and that's the response he was giving to the IEA when they were calling on the government to at least initiate the thinking of naturalization, or better still, nationalizing our natural resources. The Daily Gist this morning, NPP reject NDC claims IMF program was derailed. Story is on page 2 of the Daily Gist this morning. Africa's former headmaster endorses his NPP chairmanship bid. Story is on page 2 of the Daily Gist. And Prophet Bedu Kobi predicts Julius Debra leading NDC into 2028 elections. Story is on page 11 of the Daily Gist. And the big one, we won't be caged. Apenyomakin warns of a return of culture of silence. Story is on page 3. And Hohoi MC chases NPP activists with BNI CID for filming Akufo-Addo project. Story is on page 2 of the Daily Gist. FBI tightens news around Asante Achim North MP's neck. Story is on page 3. An RTI commission slaps finance ministry with 100,000 Ghana cedis fine. Where as well, the RTI executive secretary's photo here, and Kasiala Toforson, the doctor as well. Maybe the business, graphic business, local content, not importation. Ken Ashigbe as well has been speaking since he responded to the IA's request. And Ghana's digital backbone comes under strain. Stories on page 2. And Ghana exits IMF program early, signs non-financial deal. Stories on page 8 and 9 of the graphic business. And finally, the Daily Guide. Maybe will that be finally? Maybe, yeah, finally. The Daily Guide this morning. Defend Christian values. Reverend Wengam has been speaking, and Afoko's ex-headmaster endorses his leadership skill. It's on page 6 of the Daily Guide. Abronye others remand political persecution. Minority leader has been speaking, Apenyomakin, and buffer stock case is on our desk today. We'll attempt to find some answers and bring some clarity to it. Hanan and his wife charged over 62.6 million Ghana cedis theft. Story is on page 3 of the Daily Guide this morning. And 7 Ivorian stowaways rescued at Tema Port. Story is on page 6 of the Daily Guide. So those are the headlines on the newspapers. But of course, what's the news without you visiting myjoyonline.com? Do well to do so. This morning we're joined by Lom Nuku Ahleja. He is lawyer, a lecturer and energy analyst as well. Duncan Hussein is Deputy Director of Finance and Administration at the National Service Authority. Alfred Thompson is former Deputy Director of the NIB and National Treasurer aspirant of the NPP. Amanda Akoko Clinton, lawyer and head of chambers at Clinton Consultancy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Good morning. I hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah, we managed to.
Good to have you back. We had a great time last week, Amanda. We'll pick up on that conversation as well on the Asante Achim North MP. But Lom, it's good to have you back.
Yes.
You've been off for a week or two? Yes. Okay. All right. It's good to have you back.
It was a good weekend for me as well.
It was, eh? Welcome back. Welcome back on the show. Alfred, it's been a minute with you and I.
Yes. But what can we do?
I have just seen a new title of yours or an address of yours that you're aspiring for something.
Yes, the National Treasurer of the New Patriotic.
You want to hold the money, like you want to hold it for them. You want to keep it for them.
We want to make accountability transparent. And we want the people to willingly and voluntarily give their contribution to the party. The leader counts a lot, the person you put in charge of that and what he's there to do.
And that will be you.
That's what I'm going to do to make sure that people willingly and voluntarily contribute to make the party stronger and better.
Okay.
So it makes them get a good voice.
I'll send you an invoice. Yeah, I've just campaigned. I'll send you an invoice. If I'm going to send you an invoice, then you might as well just go on it. However, what? Yeah.
Yesterday, when the rain started, I started experiencing a light of on and off. I slept in the dark.
Oh, but say Ghana there. Ghana. Since I was a child. Oh, come on. Since I was a child. No matter how stable your power is, if it's raining in Ghana, you've got, in fact, nobody will tell you, you go turn on your thing. It was quite windy, stormy yesterday.
I had to move to my other place at East Legon because when you go there and it's raining, it stopped, that power outage stopped.
At East Legon. At East Legon. If you're in East Legon and you didn't have any power outages yesterday, you can send me a message today. Yes, and I can confirm.
Like 4 a.m.
I can confirm. Anyway.
I can tell you, and it's usual.
Is it?
Yeah, it's synonymous to the name.
Okay, so this morning.
You understand this morning? I was sent here to work.
Okay. I hope you also had a good weekend, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. I managed to rest a bit.
That's good to know.
Do a quick Thursday orientation course at UCC for the new prospective national service personnel.
Oh, okay.
Normally we go on a campus orientation course for them. So I had to go there, come back, and it was a whole lot, but we managed.
It's good to have you back in Accra. Okay, so fresh legal troubles for former NAFCO CEO Hanan Abdul-Wahab Aludiba and his wife Faiza Seidu Wuni. And by now you know that earlier charges were dropped. You recall that the Attorney General had indicated that fresh evidence, and we all were just wondering what that will mean. But today we have clarity that the Attorney General himself has filed up to 20 count or criminal charges against the couple, including stealing, money laundering, and causing financial loss to the state. So that's what we'll start with, and then we'll then also dovetail into what's happening with the Asante Achim North MP, and then we'll talk about power, of course, because you heard Alfred here yesterday. It was stormy. Did you have light? But it's not the real issue. The IMF says that the government should consider fast-tracking the privatization sector of the ECG. TUC says no. We'll try and get some understanding to that as well. So let me start with you, Alfred. What do you think, Alfred? Let me start with you. So the fresh evidence that the Attorney General drew our attention to and the new charges. I don't know if you've had the chance to compare whether or not the new charges.
I was actually trying to do that to Google it and see whether I could get the old charges. As
the old charges. Or maybe let me ask the lawyers. Amanda, if you have seen the charges and as to whether you can see a clear difference, and does it matter if the charges are still the same, but the evidence is different?
Yes, I mean, I think when the Attorney General withdrew, he said because there's fresh evidence, and he was basically setting a legal basis to come back again. Otherwise, it could be questioned that is this persecution, etc. The old charges were framed around procurement breaches, unauthorized payment, and causing financial loss to the state. The new filing leans more heavily on criminality. So conspiracy, intention, and fraudulent conduct. So I think they're focusing more on mens rea, intent, criminality, and they withdrew in order to do so. Can the Attorney General do this? I'm sure, Mr. Godfred Dami will fight against it and say his clients are being persecuted, but the Attorney General will probably rely on the Criminal Procedure Code and just say that, he has the right to stop the current case and then bring it back with newly framed evidence, etc.
Okay.
But, it is a lot of money. I think $4.3 million, more or less, in a position of, state resources, etc. But it'll be interesting to see what the public thinks. Is this a witch hunt, or is this a genuine pursuit on behalf of the government? And if the government is so keen on pursuing, why don't we have more NDC members being pursued as well, should they exist? You know what I mean? So that's the balance, I think, to be reached. But definitely, they've done fresh evidence on the basis of focusing more on criminality, etc. And I think with the defense, they are basically saying that they reduced the charges from 24 to 20, and they dropped 3 of the accused people. Although they say it's the same old charges, like I've said, it seems these charges lean more to criminality.
Criminality, yeah. Okay. Alfred,
Yeah.
So there seem to be some changes in the charges. The lawyers are able to put a better meaning to it for us. But for you, are you surprised at the turn of the case?
As I told you, I was just trying to Google to see what the difference was. And the first 24 charges were also criminal charges. They said 24 criminal charges related to alleged diversion and laundering, the same money laundering. And of over 78 million in public funds. Now I think it's about 60 million.
62.6 million Ghana cedis.
62. I bet when they take him, they leave, drop these charges and bring it again, they'll tell us that 50 million. So it's dropping gradually. Because that's the modus operandi. Instead of taking your time, you see, before you put someone in court and prefer criminal charges, and I believe the lawyers will agree with me, you have to do your homework very well.
We've seen people do thorough homework, as you're saying. For years, they go to court. I mean, lawyers, no, not a particularly case. If you follow cases, you see people thinking they're very sure of their evidence. They go...
If the defense lawyer is very strong, that is when you start seeing that people start dropping. And when they will tell you, most of the lawyers will tell you that when you have so many charges against the person, you realize that it leads to nothing. When you have so many charges, it leads to nothing. 1, 2, 3 charges. You go straight to the point. But you start from 24, you drop to 20. Next time you tell us that 18 or 17. Please. You see, and you put criminality on the person. Criminality on a former CEO, on someone.
He's just been charged.
No, but when you go and write that 24 criminal charges against the person, and don't forget that before any time Attorney General is coming out, you come and do a press conference and criminalize the person before he sends the person to court. Anytime he's coming out with any charges, he criminalizes the person on media before he sends the person to court. So before you even attempt to go and go and defend yourself. Criminal charges have been preferred against you. Is that the type of country we want to lead? Is that the type of country we want our people to live in? Because it can happen to you, it can happen to me. That today, when there is any problem, they will tell you that, oh, we are updating updating the citizens. The citizens want you to take action and do the right thing, and not to drop charges against your people and sit down and have 60-40 or whatever with them. Let their charges go on to the end, whether it was started by MPP or not. If there are charges against your people, let it end. Don't go and say that, oh, we've negotiated it and we've taken it, we've had a nolli prosequi. And then when they finish, you come and say that, oh, these people have criminal charges against them. Someone and their wife who have worked till this time, their reputation is at stake. 24 charges, then you drop it to 20, then you put it the criminal charges. And when you look at the former charges as against the present charges, it's about the same thing. So it tells me straight away that this is much ado about nothing. Let's stop this thing, public prosecution. Let's stop this type of trying to make sure that we destroy our opponents. So we have our day and say that, oh, because as we sit here, this whole oral situation is a sham. That is what the NDC is doing, settings. The oral is a sham. Right from the chairman of oral to the person who is running the oral now. In fact, the Attorney General has told us that this whole oral thing, he has to something like redo it. Because what he has gotten and what he looks and what he sees today is not realistic to take anyone on that. It's like a storytelling thing. That is all they wanted to do. So it tells you that it's political prosecution. That is all that is happening today.
Okay.
I don't think it's right.
Okay. Lom. Is it that it is quite surprising that a lawyer will drop charges, file new ones if they find fresh evidence?
No, it is not. And as Amanda said, you see that when you look closely at the charges, there's a slight, if I say difference and addition. Okay, so first it was focused significantly on procurement and procurement-related breaches. Now there's more stealing, defrauding by false pretenses. Of course, money laundering was there in the first one. It's also here as well. And then in terms of the scope of the counts or the charges that have been leveled against these particular accused persons has increased. The amount also, as you mentioned. So it is not out of place. Of course, we can always have debates about whether it is best to do it once and then stick to it. But fresh evidence means that new things came up which were not contemplated at the time the first charges were being proffered. And if we are talking about the same accused persons and there's new evidence, it is also prudent then to combine everything into one new charge sheet which deals with a specific case, and then you proceed from there. We've seen or followed some of the commentary in the media, whether it is persecution or not persecution. Generally, like I'm saying, it is not out of place for this to happen. Tied to that also is the issue of, the public updates and information related to new cases and so on. It's also not out of place. In fact, in the US, I recall quite recently, before Trump came back into office, when he was being charged by the district attorney for New York, the entire indictment was presented to the media, and then the charges were filed. So it is a way of also ensuring accountability, because the people who are in charge of prosecuting such cases also owe a duty to the people of Ghana to ensure that what they are doing is justified in law and can be defended under any circumstance. So for me right now, what is presently happening, it's not out of place, and the accused persons have every opportunity through their lawyers to defend their case and also to take on the state, for instance, in any particular issue or challenge with the charges. But as it has been filed and a new case is to start, it is not strange and it's not unknown to our jurisdiction.
Why do we see that initially he was detained by a Yoko, and then yet the charges, as we have seen, it's signed by the Attorney General? What's the correlation? Well,
again, in the past few weeks, we've had this running debate about Attorney General's powers under Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution, vis-a-vis, for example, OSP and other security agencies. the law is that, or at least as far as the Constitution is concerned, it is the Attorney General that has prosecutorial powers in Ghana. Yeah. Any other person or entity that does prosecutions, that's why the instance of the Attorney General, which means that the Attorney General can do all cases if they so desire and only allow other institutions based on authorization to be able to represent them. So in this case, IOCO is an investigative body. They're investigating a particular matter. They have brought evidence that Attorney General, of course, has been presented to the Attorney General. The Attorney General decided, consistent with his powers under the 1992 Constitution, to go ahead and prosecute. There is nothing that requires the Attorney General to ask IOCO or any other state institution to do it, because it will be merely, the Attorney General will be merely delegating his authority. So
even if IOCO was proceeding and the Attorney General said, no, I'm interested in these cases, I want to be the one.
Absolutely.
There's nothing.
Which is why when we're having the conversation about even the OSP powers, and we are still waiting for Supreme Court clarity on that specifically, you see that in the discourse, public discourse, we've repeatedly made a point that Attorney General can do anything related to prosecution. Yeah. In fact, even the OSP Act, as we recall, makes copious references to subject to the Constitution. Yeah. Subject to it. The reason is because the Attorney General can come in at any time. In fact, even any other, whether it's the Ghana Police or IOCO or NAFCO or any of the institutions that currently handle prosecutions, even if they start a case, running a case, at any point in time, the Attorney General can enter a null prosecution. In that case, even though the Attorney General is not handling it directly, because the power belongs to the Attorney General.
Okay.
And it's merely by delegation that any other person or institution or authority can handle prosecution. So as it stands now, that's how it is. So if the Attorney General has received a briefing from IOCO, and based on that briefing, the Attorney General decides that his office should handle the prosecution, so be it.
Okay.
That's it.
Let me come to you. I'm concerned. I know what the position of the law is, that if any investigative body, especially the Attorney General, decides to want to drop charges, file a new one and all that, we've seen these things happen merely. Maybe this one is people in the public are interested in this particular case. That's why we're hearing it. But what does it do to the public confidence in the fight against corruption and corruption-related cases? For example, you have so much confidence in an Attorney General who does a press conference and assures you that, listen, they're painstaking investigations, and so we're proceeding to court, and that this person is not going to be let off the hook. And then we see that they say fresh evidence. Yes, of course, new charges have been filed. But do you see it in any way denting the confidence of the public in any way at all?
Yeah, Emefa, good morning to you, and good morning to my lovely co-panelists. Emefa, I think we should at times try to decouple politics from some of these judicial issues, because the more you try to bring in politics, the more you invite us also to try to state issues the way they are. So my brother just said there is nothing happening under the aura. Then again, he went on to say, why are we persecuting people? Like, all the things we are doing shows that it is not actually legality or something, but we are trying to just show power or use the law to intimidate opponents. Currently, as I speak to you, under the oral, 16 dockets are under review. 7 of those cases are currently in court. Over 200 cases are under investigation as I speak to you. 80 people have been invited under the oral alone. This case we are talking about is part of the oral. National Service is part of the oral. You remember the payroll fraud. The cybersecurity case is also under oral. Wood to me is under oral. So the same people who say nothing is happening under oral will again come and say that people are being persecuted. So you see the double standards. But let me come back to your point of interest. Why does the Attorney General withdraw an initial charge and then prefer fresh charges? There's a classical example with the National Service case. You remember when we started, it was 560 million Ghana cedis that the state was chasing. Then when we took over, it started when we took over actually. Then somewhere May 2025, when we're asked to actually shut the Central Management System portal for forensic audits. But National Service is in such a way that most of our activities are hidden within the Central Management System portal. So until the Attorney General and then the Auditor General with National Security and YOCO came into our Central Management System portal, that was when they were able to detect another over 1.45 billion Ghana cedis hidden in there. Because that is where most of our activities are done. So what YOCO and NIB were chasing were just the normal audits outside the system. That's what the Attorney General was chasing initially. Until they went into our system before they detected majority of the payroll fraud. That was why they now withdrew the first, 560, and then added it, and now it is about 2.2 billion Ghana cedis that the state is chasing in the National Service case. So I don't really see the confidence of the public being actually eroded in the Attorney General. No, but it just shows that they are doing actually a good job. They are actually making sure that they don't let anything off. Because for me, it is better to prefer the right charges than to rush a charge that you are not so sure, 50-50, and go and get it wrong.
Is that an admission that the first one was rushed?
So that's what I'm saying. Until they went into the system, they were chasing just the 560, which was normal administrative, budgetary lapses that they detected.
What prevented you to go into the system?
You can't go into our system until you are given the authority.
By who?
By either the Attorney General or the Auditor General.
But the Attorney General himself pursuing the matter, so...
Yes,
did
so
he
that
need
was
permission
why...
from himself?
That is why they now asked us to release the system to them.
Okay.
Because without giving you access, you can't go into our system.
But the Attorney General that grants the permission and the access, right?
No, for audits and all investigation, yes.
Okay, and I'm asking that, did he need permission from himself?
No,
he could have just...
He needed the Auditor General to go in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was the Auditor General, NITA, NIA, and all those guys who have to now come in with the cyber security experts to now go into the system before they can bring out all those evidence. But like I said, for me, yes, we've seen in the past the former Attorney General Godfrey Dami granting press conferences about cases. The MPP had to take Dr. Opuni 8 years. They couldn't even get conviction against him. So it is not about how long you do it, how quickly you do it, but how well you do it to give us the actual results.
Do you genuinely think that you should have been measured in your promises with oral?
No. Oral was like, tell us what you know. We'll gather everything that you think you have as an evidence. You see, it was a way to also let Ghanaians tell us what they think they have. So we collected everything and said, okay, listen, we have gone through everything that you've provided. There were over 2,000 witnesses that came forward with their documents, emails, and all those stuff. But then you have to use the ones that you think these ones are criminal. And there are instances that people who were also reported to have taken state assets return them. Even during the oral days, when the committee was in place, people who actually bought government lands, who actually took government assets, returned them and said, listen, I don't want any issue with court, just take it back.
I see.
Yes.
Those things, some good recoveries then.
Yeah, so oral was not just about prosecution. It was to recover things that belong to government that people genuinely felt this thing is government's own. Why have you taken it? Some of them, like I said, have been recovered.
Okay.
Some cases that we felt, no, the state needed the money. That is why we are in court. And the person agrees, listen, I'm ready to give the money back. Why do you have to go now to prosecution? Like we saw in the ambulance case. The people were ready to pay us the money. We said, no, we are targeting our two forces, so we must go to court. And we lost the money and lost the case.
Is there a special appetite for every Attorney General to file nolli prosequi only for people that belong to their party? Is there a certain appetite for
No. Like I said...
You see why I'm asking this? Because I've drew your attention to the bargainings that would have happened.
You see, I also told you that oral is not just about prosecution and judgment.
Okay, so if I see, for example, a discontinuation, it will mean that the Attorney General has been able to recover something for the state. Okay.
That is
like we saw in the Kojo 4 case.
Well, what was the state chasing Kojo 4 for?
Money recovered. But sometimes they also request that you prosecute.
No, see, you prosecute when there is so much criminality.
If a person
you are not able to recover.
If you are recovering, it's an admission that the person.
Yes, but in the case of
if you are recovering, it means that you found evidence that the person has caused a certain financial loss to the state. So if you recover, are you recovering with interest? Are you recovering it with some punishment?
So let's look at the case with the gentleman with the beige capital bank.
ACN, not to ACN.
Yes. The state actually gave him some time to pay the money back.
He couldn't.
He couldn't.
But this particular Attorney General came out saying that so many people have offered to settle.
Yes.
But we will not settle. We want to go after them because...
So if there are criminalities...
I remember
that. Is where when the criminality outweighs what we want to recover. Because let's say there is something that belongs to the state.
Who decides what is criminality?
Yeah, but he's our lawyer.
No, but it's not right.
That is not true.
The party people are not criminals.
In jail.
The party people are the truth. The party people, I can negotiate with them 60-40, whether it came or not. I can negotiate with them. The other people on the other side, that one I don't want.
Was there any nolli prosequis filed under your regime from Madame Gloria Akufo to?
I don't remember any.
Not any. They were not public cases.
If you recall, tell me.
There were a few here, except that they were not public cases.
No, I don't recall any person within the party that we filed a nolli prosequi for. I don't.
No, there were experts whitewashing the issues, especially when the president.
So if you remember, call any.
Oh, you remember the sanitation minister?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When the president said, "Oh, don't worry, you'll be clean." Truthfully, the lady was actually left on.
So you want to say that the OSP was
the OSP
the sanitation minister?
Oh, please. The president says
if it's criminality,
you'll be clean. And you were able to make him clean.
You can call the case.
You remember the Boss Energy scandal?
Okay, we won't dilute the issues here. We won't dilute the issues here, but of course, it invites us to other areas, of course.
No, see, for me, like Amanda.
Are you confident that would make some progress with this case? Are you confident that the Attorney General will secure some conviction?
Why not?
You're confident?
Very much so, because we all indicated, people were willing to pay, but some of the cases that the people are willing to pay back bother so much on criminality.
Okay.
So if you steal and say, I want to pay back, it's different from you managing a bank and the bank going bankrupt and you want to pay back to the state. Those are two different things.
Okay. Amanda, in your years of lawyering, if you look at these charges, are you quite certain that the Attorney General will secure some convictions at all?
Well, I mean, I haven't looked into the file, but when they say fresh evidence, it normally means that perhaps they got a cue from the judge that he or she wasn't seeing certain things. And so they brought out that evidence more, and they thought it would be better to refile in order to emphasize criminality, emphasize intent, and that, the mens rea involved in, for instance, removing money from an account and putting it into another one, and then the follow-through paperwork or evidence.
Or there could also be the case that you see 3 other people who were charged have been dropped. it could also turn out that those people now want to be prosecution witnesses.
Yeah, okay. So it's fresh evidence.
So
they're framing it.
You want to negotiate, eh?
Negotiate what?
but what's wrong with that? What would be wrong if
they can offer you this something small to just say that, listen, go on the other side and
I mean, no.
Evidence is evidence.
Evidence.
You have to
listen, there's something happening with what do you call it? This cybersecurity.
Yeah.
That they changed this and then the person came and said things that they themselves are saying that now it's going against them. The same thing with the Wontumi case, and this one too, the same thing will happen.
And I think we should also focus on what he was discussing about investigate on the authority of the AG. I think Act 804, the Yoko Act, does specifically say investigate and on the authority of the AG. And the Yoko's website also says investigate and on the authority of the AG. However, I'm very much looking forward to the Supreme Court case.
Yeah, it brings finality to this matter.
To bring finality to this matter because, it is not divorced from reality that these institutions weren't created in a vacuum, but to solve a problem. And that problem is, what is the intent behind setting up Yoko, setting up OSP, and even as fair as someone can be in terms of an institution, if your party is in power and you've done so much for each of you to help each other get into power, are you going to turn on one of your own? Do you see what I mean? And so these institutions were set up so justice is blind, and that Yoko or OSP can take over at that stage so you don't have the headache of having to decide whether to pursue your own party people. And so I think the nuanced approach of the Supreme Court will be welcome. And it will be very welcomed if they go into the history. And that's why all these CSOs, 12 CSOs, attach or want to attach themselves to this matter, because they could have done more in terms of helping with the wording of the act, but they very much want to speak to what was the intent of creating the OSP, and that it must be insulated in order to achieve the result of blind justice for all, particularly when it comes to criminal offences. So you're absolutely right about, these institutions being under the Attorney General, but hopefully the Supreme Court will come up with a very novel approach.
Amanda, we all know Alfred and his people could have saved us all this headache if they had taken their time with the OSP's Act properly.
And they say so in their submissions for, trying to join themselves. They say they could have done more. They could have done better. And they're hoping...
Alfred, why you have it from?
I want to go
to the other matters. Yeah.
I'll just a slight one here. I always say NDC as a party is a sham. The settings are too high.
Like the entire NDC party is a sham.
They are trained for that propaganda. That is their modus operandi.
Why would I believe it from another political party?
Can you see, a party who came and said that, listen, let us train people to become propagandists. And then when they saw that it wasn't going well for them, they changed the name to say communication officer or whatever it is. But you realize that these elections, they came with lies. Today, they are living with lies. 2028, they'll go with lies. When he was talking, I was looking at him quietly. He said that, you needed the permission of the, Attorney General before you enter the systems and everything. My sister, the new CEO there is the person an MPP person. The new CEO at Buffer Stock is the person an MPP person.
Why is it relevant?
If they wanted to investigate and get good results, the moment the CEO goes there, and that is what happens to most of their institutions, when they go there, they quickly find as if there is a problem that the previous government came to steal and destroy the place. So they quickly look for problems and things that have gone wrong and start pushing it for prosecution. The CEO there, going into the system, is not a problem for him. If they wanted to know what had gone on, they could even invite...
My understanding is that the fact that you're a CEO does not mean that you can just go in and out of a system. That's a database.
The system belongs to you.
How?
No, but you can't order a forensic audit into our central
it is his story.
Management portal.
Recently,
but it is his story,
of the national home ownership scheme, the CEO there ordered for forensic audit in everything that had gone on there and found out nothing.
That is his own.
That is why I'm telling you that before the Attorney General can send this to court, he can call the CEO, listen, do a forensic audit at your place for me. 1 year down the line, you are coming to tell me that, they now sought to look for some, please, settings. Okay. Settings, lies.
I've heard
that is the modus operandi of the party.
Under the MPP.
Yeah.
You remember the Delta Force case?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that because they were not very public.
The almighty Aisha 1, the one we were using for the Sino-Hydro loan.
Aisha 1?
Yeah, they filed a nolle prosequi because they wanted loan from China.
Is that so?
Under the Aisha 1 case.
That is what Osaf Mafu said.
I know that Aisha 1
happened.
That is what Osaf Mafu said. He said, remember the Sino-Hydro. So there's no point keeping her here.
No, I'm asking, is that what happened?
That is what you told us.
Oh, please. You see, this is your sentence.
Okay.
What is the sentence?
Okay, let me go to the other.
I'm just giving you 2 cases.
Let me go to the other matters.
And when you came into office, what is how many?
Let me go to the other matters. Well, I'll be tempted to ask whether or not in your regime did you start investigating any of your party members?
No.
Yes. OSP did. OSP did.
No, but the OSP is an independent.
Independent.
Yeah. Yes. I'm talking about the Attorney General filing because OSP cannot file nolle prosequi.
It got to a time even we are complaining about the OSP that it was as if
I'm not asking about the OSP.
All cases.
I'm not asking about the OSP.
And focusing on MPP people.
But I'm not asking about the OSP.
Because
I'm asking about the person that has the nolle prosequi, the person who has the power to file a nolle prosequi.
Write to the OSP, that is, investigate this case by an ordinary citizen. You go ahead and do it. And that was what he was doing.
You lost me.
We didn't file any nolle prosequi.
You're rolling a certain responsibility at the doorstep of the NDC. And I'm saying that it would be nice to let me into any of the cases that the then Attorney General under your regime started investigating any of its own political party members.
That is why we had the Office of the Special Prosecutor to look at all these related issues. That is why we created that office.
Okay, so
and that office was doing its work well till these people came into office and decided that either they prosecute OSP himself and get him out, or they make him defunct. And today, as we sit here, he's defunct. Now the man cannot even work.
He's working.
Where is he working? When you tell him that every work you are doing, bring it to me to give you the order before you
let me come to you, because last week Amanda and I were here and we went extensively on the Ohene Kwame Frimpong matter. And so let me come to you before I come back to the other panelists. So this entire case about the Asante Achim North MP and him being detained in the Netherlands and all, which part of this matter surprises you at all? Nothing of it?
No, nothing. Perhaps maybe the sheer scale of it, because at least from the reports that we've seen, they're talking about some $32 million, amount, which is related to the charges. And perhaps the amount is a significant amount compared to the kinds of figures that we talk about in Ghana terms. So, for example, the NAFCO case we just talked about, we're talking something in the region of about $4 million. So when you compare that to what, the MP is alleged to be involved in, that's quite a huge figure. So as it stands now, the MP being detained there is not new. We've seen things like this quite even recently. I recall when, for example, Hajia Faril's case commenced, she was in the UK for a private visit.
That was about $2 million or so.
Yes, $2 million, yes. It wasn't that much. But she was detained in the UK at the instance of the FBI and not in Ghana. So that's also interesting. It looks like the FBI have different strategies they use for different types of cases. There are times when they make specific requests to Ghana directly, as we saw, for example, in the Dada Joe remix matter. That's the Kojo gentleman who was a request for extradition was done to face charges related to some romance scam in the US. We know, for example, one of the ongoing cases relates to the Abu Trika extradition request, which is also going through the court process. But we've seen, like in this case, the MP's case, the Hajia Faril matter, some notice or request was made to a third country or another country for the person to be detained and so on. So it's not strange. Of course, the person being an MP in Ghana does not guarantee them immunity in another jurisdiction. We don't know.
A bit nuanced.
He guarantees them courtesies.
Oh, yes.
Not especially no immunity.
Yes.
So, for example, if a member of parliament is traveling for personal, if he's traveling for personal stuff, and yet traveling on a diplomatic passport, which is usually shouldn't be.
Yes.
Well, I'm traveling. I know I'm a member of parliament. It's for my personal business, but I decide to want to go with my diplomatic passport. Will these courtesies still be extended to him?
Even if you are traveling on a diplomatic passport for official government business, it still doesn't give you a right to commit crime anywhere in the world.
So like I said, not immunity, but courtesies is...
What kind of courtesies are these? Are these courtesies... can you demand it by law?
So like you can't just go and bundle him like you bundle any other... At least... Speak to the Ghanaian authority. Listen,
he wasn't bundled. The story doesn't suggest that he was bundled.
He was just taken from the aircraft, handcuffed in the aircraft.
Okay, before I come back to the lawyers, give us the picture proper. It will situate the conversation.
According to what I know, they touched down. They were all instructed by the pilot to stay put. Nobody gets down for routine security checks. Then the authorities walked in walked in, went straight to the business. About 6 of them. They went in straight to the business class where he was seated. Then identified him. He said, yes, he was the one. They said, well, he's under arrest. Right there. His colleagues were like, what's happening?
But where else could they have arrested him?
Oh,
you would rather they take him out of the plane before they tell him you're under arrest?
Let him get down.
Okay.
I mean, arrested is the same operandi they also...
It's actually standard protocol.
You do the same thing.
Hang on. It's important that we get the story well told. Then we can really invite the layers of the law.
You could have even escorted him out without handcuffing him right there in the plane.
Is that what you do?
What's the... Alfred.
We are talking about
Alfred, please.
Diplomatic member of parliament here.
Please.
So what? A diplomat.
So what? He was cuffed.
A diplomat.
Focus on me. He doesn't ask the questions. He was cuffed or what?
Yes, he was cuffed there in the plane.
Okay.
That is where I find it a bit over.
There's nothing wrong.
No, he could have been escorted out.
You
are holding arms.
Fine.
Okay, back to the lawyer.
This is new information, which is interesting to know perhaps the approach that was used. But in any case, as I said, those cases being breached and so on, our country can always raise those diplomatic queries with the Netherlands and so on, because there are certain minimum standards that are required when you are dealing with somebody who has diplomatic status, which in this case, I don't know if the confirmation is that he went on official business with a diplomatic passport, but our foreign minister is up to that task. As I'm sure you can see, we are seriously taking on the South Africans for what is happening in South Africa to Ghanaian and other West African citizens, and also we know that there's a report that has been made to the AU in respect to that. So I think on the diplomatic side, that issue can be dealt with, and Ghana can raise it, and whatever consequences need to fall from that will happen. But again, back to the process, what you asked. So once the arrest has been done, the question that comes up is whether indeed the MP can be extradited. Because in every country, they have some law or the other which regulates extraditions. In Ghana, we have it. The US, they have it, and so on. So everybody has a right to basically use that process to challenge their extradition as well.
Solom, educate me. Sorry, Emefa. So in this case, is it going to be the extradition law of Netherlands or the extradition law of Ghana?
No, the extradition law of Netherlands, because he's presently arrested in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And so he can challenge his extradition based on whatever grounds they have there. I mean, generally, most countries have grounds that relate to, if, for example, the state has to prove that the offense is an extraditable offense, which means that in their law, they would have spelled out the kinds of offenses that if you are charged with and a request has been made, you can be arrested for, whether there's due process followed, whether his rights have been violated in any way, and so on and so forth. Just like we have, many countries have similar regimes, because under international law also, there's quite a fair standard for those determinations. So anybody has a right to challenge their right to extradition. We've seen Ken Ofori-Atta doing it in the US. We've seen Abu Trike's case here in Ghana. I mean, and so on. So at the end of the day, Ghana and the accused MP have that right to be enforced or asserted. And I'm sure once he was on diplomatic passport, Ghana, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with our embassy in the Netherlands, will afford him all the assistance he requires to be able to.
Even if he wasn't on diplomatic passports, he's still a member of parliament.
Absolutely. In fact, yes. In fact, even if he was an ordinary citizen, the embassy will provide consular services, yes, to them. In fact, many instances where our embassies abroad support Ghanaian nationals in one case or the other, even when it is purely like a jurisdictionally, let's say, domestic matter. You see, this one has an international dimension because the request is coming from the US. But let's even say a Ghanaian living in the Netherlands was involved in some criminal activity and was being charged. Our embassies routinely support such Ghanaians by extending consular services to them, helping them to find a lawyer and all of those things. So I expect that similar thing will happen. In fact, over the weekend there was a report where, I'm saying this because now there's so much going on with AI and all of that, but there was a clip where the MP is speaking to.
That was an old
issues. So it's not even related to this one. Exactly. So we have to be sure.
Doesn't have any replay.
It happened once before. It happened once, and there was rumors that he was arrested. So that was an answer.
Debunking the previous. Exactly.
Okay.
So when I saw it, that was my question, whether indeed it was from this current issue, and if it was, then it means that he has access to even a phone to record all of these things, which is not the case. So that's good.
I mean, this brings to the conversation international law, domestic law, in the middle of it to be some conflicts of laws, and it will be very critical. I hear Lom say that, well, it'll definitely be extradited based on the Netherlands laws, despite him being Ghanaian. Yeah. I see you're making some notes. You have some responses.
Just some responses to everything that's been said. I mean, I think the way they got him off the flight, in fairness, I think that was standard protocol, because whoever you are, they get you off the flight like that in terms of if it's drug offences or different things. Okay. FBI, Interpol, and the Netherlands authorities.
Regardless of your diplomacy,
yes,
the diplomatic status.
The thing is, it's actually the safety of the other passengers. Oh, okay. So if they, you know what I mean, if it's a serious offence, etc., you're basically trying to isolate that person and see him off because that is the alleged threat, even though it's not to the plane. And then once you've quarantined him by getting him off, everybody else can get off in a standard protocol way. So it's just airline, protocol because you're trying to exit the quote unquote problem. And then doing that.
You have to handcuff him and walk.
No, that is a protocol. I mean, I've had people on flights with other people. This has happened to other people. I mean, it wasn't a Ghanaian, it was a Nigerian that was escorted off. They were escorted off in exactly the same protocol. Nobody was allowed to leave the seat. They were handcuffed first, and then they were escorted off. Second issue is about this, this diplomatic passport that he has. Under the Vienna Convention, he does not enjoy full immunity because he is not embassy staff. You've got certain criteria of people, embassy staff, and then even then, if a police officer asks you and you say you have diplomatic immunity, they want to know your car registration number. If you have one, is it diplomatic? Do you enjoy certain taxes in that country because you have diplomatic immunity, etc.? He doesn't qualify. This won't be handled because of his diplomatic immunity because he doesn't have it. The second issue is the extradition. Should he be extradited or should he resist extradition? He will resist it on the fact that the procedure wasn't followed in some way or there was human rights violations. So if the Ghana government gets in touch with a US lawyer, they can see if some violations occurred from the US side, and the Netherlands lawyer will see if there's some violations.
This is standard procedure where you're cuffed because they have to protect other passengers and all of that. Yeah. What kind of rights do you anticipate may be violated if it's standard procedure?
No, but those are not the rights we're talking about. We're talking about the facts of the particular case, which I am not privy to. So once they look into that, they will start mounting a defense based on procedural irregularity. Thirdly, this point about diplomatic courtesy, which you raised, is a very important point because, we all accept on this panel that if you are guilty of a criminal offense, you should face, the tune of it. You should be prosecuted, etc. But diplomatic courtesy may mean that he could have been expelled in a different way. So if Ghana is building a relationship with the US and they've extradited at least 9 people in the last 1 year, and the relationship has deepened, and they share all this intelligence, and their security agencies share all this intelligence, etc., which they do, then because he's a politically exposed person, the US government might have elected not to share that intelligence in order to get this guy on the flight.
Now, for me, I think they were being smart. Sorry for cutting it. Yeah. I think they were being smart because if they look at the weight of this legislator, vis-a-vis what we are also pressuring them to bring the former minister, it could be on the same path. So if they ask us to extradite him, we might also say, then let's swap.
No. Ghana would never have swapped. No. Ghana would never have swapped. Ghana would have looked into whether they thought criminality exists, but it wasn't for them to answer. The thing is, when you're dealing with politically exposed people, they are called that for a particular reason.
I see.
Meaning that they enjoy certain rights because they are within, a party, or he's an independent, so he supports that party. And it also means that they enjoy benefits that they perhaps shouldn't enjoy in terms of they are absolutely protected. Mm-hmm. And that shouldn't be the case. So to remove that element, intelligence might not have been shared for him to get on that flight.
I'm not sure he was shared.
And I think the question you asked on your poster, the poster says, how is this all going to play out? It can't play out with immunity because he just doesn't have diplomatic immunity. It's going to be diplomatic back channels and closed-door negotiations in order to do a swap, if at all.
But is that not an indirect diplomatic immunity some way? It may not have been written black and white, but if we're going to have a tea and have a discussion of you because you're a diplomat, what would you describe that as?
Well, it's high-stakes negotiation because...
For example, if the foreign ministry, like Lom said, if they get involved, that's inviting it into an area of diplomacy.
Well, diplomacy, but it's also what do you have and what do I have and what are we prepared to share because of this? I mean, Ghana has already shared too much in terms of 9 people went across.
Too much.
So we might be approaching the Netherlands more to do a swap.
Okay.
Because this happened on their territory and they are the ones who will decide whether he's expelled.
So we can negotiate with the US?
No, we can, because the US, everybody is negotiating with everybody. The US can sort of back down a little, should they choose to, because they're getting something out of it. And the Netherlands can see what they can get from this if it's worth them sending him over.
I don't think we'll go down that way. I don't think we will go down that route.
Well, I mean, the reason why I believe we're going to go down that route is because Ghana may argue that if they had been given the opportunity, they may have done the right thing. But optics-wise, this makes us look very embarrassing internationally and locally. And we weren't given the opportunity to control the narrative of how this was rolled out. And because we weren't given that opportunity, this makes us look bad. And then it also involves a member of parliament, etc. So Ghana basically would want to take control of how this optics and how this narrative plays out because you're trying to minimize damage.
Is that not what Parliament is doing already? See that they've taken notice of the detention. We have heard the chief whip for the NDC also mentioned the majority caucus in Parliament also mentioned that, of course, they're extending all the help that they can and all.
And then they don't want to leave one behind in terms of, the US has a very strong military policy where they don't leave one behind, as we saw with the Iran case where there was one left behind and they did everything, spent millions to get him back. This is not the military, But because of the way that these parties have such a good relationship in terms of the US and Ghana, and then it could be said that the US elected to not share that information, Ghana could then say, because of how bad these optics look, we want to control how the optics look and at least get our guy back. And we might be willing to give Netherlands, possibly the US, something about it. And it's going to lead to a larger conversation about how Ghana handles extraditions in future.
Okay.
For instance, China doesn't extradite. Russia doesn't extradite. Sierra Leone, which has less negotiating power, has like a 2-3 stage process of extraditing, even if they have an extradition treaty with you. The second level, I think, is the Attorney General decides. And then even that, it has to go to court, et cetera, et cetera. So people take their passports quite seriously in terms of they don't just expel, their people, no matter what they've done somewhere else in the world.
Okay.
So it's going to lead to that conversation as well, I think.
Okay. Sani, I'm coming to you, but when I come back to you, my question on this particular matter would be, would it have been different if the US was requesting the extradition if he was in Ghana here? Will Article 117 come to play here at all? Because yes, it's Abu Trika. Abu Trika, yeah, he's not immune to anything. He doesn't have any parliamentary privileges. But this is a member of parliament. Ghana here, we know what they enjoy. In fact, there's an argument that they don't enjoy. You're not immune from criminal procedures, right? If you're charged under criminality, I don't know how 117 would apply. When I come to you, I want to know what difference it would be if he was in Ghana and then the US, extended the request for extradition. How will 117 come to play? But let me come back to you. Do you know him personally?
Yes.
What would you say? What kind of person would you say he is?
Okay, so for us I was in Sechar Farm Plains and he's in Asante-Achim North, which shares boundary with Sechar Farm Plains. So we crisscross our political activities. And he's been contesting since, I think, 2008.
The third or fourth
time. Yeah, this is about the third or the fourth time. And he's known as a philanthropist in the whole area. That is how he built.
He was known. Was he known before he started contesting? Was he known as a philanthropist?
Yeah, that's what he was doing before he started going. So, in fact, some of those philanthropic gestures actually urged him on to become the MP. So he's been going for independence for more than about three or four times now. So, that's why he builds schools, builds mosques, and he does a lot. So.
Do you know his profession beyond a member of parliament?
Yeah, so we all know him as a businessman.
Yeah,
We all know him as a businessman. He does a lot of businesses.
He does that?
Forest Bureau. He's a businessman. That's how we all know him.
When you saw these allegations, were you surprised?
Yeah, well, because of the kind of business.
Forgive me, I'm doing a personality profile of him through you.
Yeah, which is not fair.
It's okay.
So for me, when I saw the charge of money laundering, I was like, ouch. If the FBI says money laundering, my sister, you have to start praying.
Because 32 million, we were discussing the 32 million suggestion, if that is the case. 32 million wouldn't ordinarily involve that one individual.
No,
it means
like a group.
It's a group.
Yes.
So they've done the trace of how that 32 million filtered
and
down.
You might be the final receiver.
Yes, so money laundering means that it goes through that.
Okay, all right, please, hang on, just stay with me. Yeah, you will. I'm just going to take both you and my viewers to Geneva, Switzerland, where the president is delivering an address. So please stay with me. I just want to take that address. The 79th World Health Assembly, where President John Dramani is speaking.
6 years after the last global pandemic, COVID-19, the world health architecture is changing rapidly. Overall humanitarian assistance is reported to have declined by 40%, and some of the largest Western economies have significantly cut their overseas development assistance. The World Health Organization's budget has been gutted by the withdrawal of U.S. assistance, forcing the organization to scale down programs and undertake steep staff retrenchments. In Ghana, health financing from bilateral and multilateral partners has significantly decreased since 2025. Ghana lost $78 million in health funding following the closure of USAID programs. This money went mainly into malaria programs, maternal and child health, nutrition, HIV/AIDS programs, including testing and delivery of antiretroviral drugs. In South Africa, the abrupt withdrawal of PEPFAR funding has shut clinics, terminated gender-based violence programs, and left 1.4 million people living with HIV uncertain about their treatment continuity. And we're told that by 2030, 9 million preventable deaths could occur due to these shifts. It is estimated that the direct consequences of this aid suspension could push about 5.7 million Africans into poverty by the end of 2026. It is this gloomy outlook for the future of global health that prompted the convening of the African Health Sovereignty Conference, famously known as the Accra Reset, in August last year. It is against this backdrop that we meet at the 79th World Health Assembly. These troubling statistics are known, and we're not here to lament or wring our hands over them. We're here, among others, to decide whether the architecture we supervise is still fit for purpose. We're here to discuss how we can continue to save lives even in the face of adversity. And I stand here before you today in the second year of my new tenure as president, mindful that the mandate given to me by my people is not merely to administer, but to transform their lives. I come from a continent that has too often been the subject of global health policy rather than its author. Today I speak to you as one of the advocates of the Accra Reset Initiative, a movement born from the conviction that the old paradigms of dependency must give way to a new era of health sovereignty. These cuts in humanitarian assistance and ODA, as painful as they are, serve as the final clear signal that the old system of donor dependency is past its sell-by date. We're witnessing the end of an era, and we must have the courage to build the next one. We're contending with an international architecture that was under strain long before these cuts even occurred. We have more global health organizations than ever, and yet country-level fragmentation has worsened. We do not come to Geneva to mourn the past. We come to build a future where a country's health is not a byproduct of charity, but a result of sovereign capability. This desire to take our health destinies into our hands imposes important responsibility on us as African leaders. We must see health spending as an investment rather than just a social obligation, because a healthy population is indispensable to economic progress. As an advocate for African health sovereignty, I'm obliged to demonstrate this practically at home. And so in Ghana, we have moved beyond rhetoric to implement calculated, aggressive policies that place the citizen at the center of the clinical encounter. With one of the more successful national health insurance schemes in Africa, Ghana has an insurance coverage estimated at 66% as at the end of 2025. This still leaves about 34% of our population without coverage. Besides, the NHIS has been focused principally on curative care with very little attention to preventive care. To mop up the remaining population not covered by the NHIS, we have recently successfully begun implementing our free primary health care program. By removing financial barriers to the most basic and essential services at the rural level, we've ensured that our citizens in the remotest regions of our country also enjoy access to quality health care on par with their urban counterparts with an eye on preventive care. And we're grateful that the WHO, led by Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, was among the first to congratulate us on achieving this significant milestone. Thank you, Tedros. We have revitalized our national health insurance scheme, the NHIS. By removing the cap on the health insurance fund, we immediately freed up an additional 3 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to $300 million for healthcare investment. We've also streamlined national health insurance scheme operations by eliminating bottlenecks, utilizing digital tools, including AI, to detect fraudulent claims, and most importantly, prioritizing prompt refunds to service providers. Because a health insurance scheme is only as strong as the trust between the state and the hospitals that provide the care. By ensuring our providers are paid on time, we ensure that our citizens are treated with dignity. We've also confronted the rising tide of non-communicable diseases by launching the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, also known as Mahama Cares. This fund is a lifeline for those suffering from non-communicable diseases, cardiovascular conditions, cancers, liver disease, and renal failures that were previously a death sentence for the poor. Mahama Cares is ensuring that specialized high-cost care is not a privilege for just a few, but is a right for all. Ghana, I'm also happy to report, is on track to exit Gavi funding for vaccines by the year 2030, and we hope to transition into a donor in the not-too-distant future. These domestic achievements are the foundation of my leadership of the Accra Reset Initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, this Assembly is set to consider a proposal for joint process to reform the global health architecture. Ghana, having co-chaired the working group for the Lusaka agenda, welcomes this. But as a committed apostle of reform of the world health architecture, I'm concerned about whispers I have heard that the current draft resolution seeks to protect existing organizational mandates and prohibit the recommendation of mergers or consolidations. In Mali, the Dogon people warn that do not let the sight of those eating roasted maize force you to cook your maize seeds. If we launch a process of reform that is prohibited from recommending actual reform, we are merely performing a ritual. We cannot prioritize institutional comfort over human survival. The WHO's legitimacy is not served by protecting silos. It is served by a fearless analysis of what works. When I hosted Director General Tedros, President Obasanjo, and many others in Accra in 2025, we firmed up a vision for health sovereignty. To us, sovereignty is the practical capacity to finance core functions predictably, regulate quality at the regional level, and produce critical inputs locally. A continent that manufactures less than 1% of its vaccines while carrying 25% of global disease burden is not sovereign, it is vulnerable. It is at best a ward of the international system. And by sovereignty, we do not mean isolationism. We're advocating the practical capacity of a nation to finance its own core functions, regulate its own quality, produce its own medicines, and govern its own data. Ministers of health in the Global South often spend more time writing donor reports than designing and fixing primary health care. This is a system that has confused the multiplication of institutions with the multiplication of impact. So to move beyond rhetoric, the Accra Reset, supported by a Presidential Council of Leaders from the Global South, is implementing 3 operational pillars. The first is the High-Level Panel on Reform. This is an independent body of global experts scrutinizing the global health architecture. The second is the Reform Interlock and Observatory. It's a coherent mechanism to ensure that the strategies of the WHO, Gavi, and the Global Fund don't clash on the desk of a district health officer in rural Africa. They must be in sync. And there is HING, we call it HING, that is Health Investment National Gateway Enablers. This will serve as the operational engine that converts political will into bankable, executable investments in local manufacturing and bioinnovation. In Ghana, we're leading by example. Our 2026 budget committed 34 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to $3.4 billion to health and expanded coverage to 20 million people. We're not lecturing from theory, we're building the evidence of what a sovereign health system should look like. And as I prepare to join Thank you. And as I prepare to join many of you at our side event later today to discuss health sovereignty in depth, I leave this assembly with 3 requests, 3 asks. First, let us not let reform be a ceiling. If we are to fix the system, we must be brave enough to look at institutional mandates and mergers without fears. Second, let us invest in execution. The world does not need more communiques. It needs deal rooms, local factories, and resilient supply chains. And third, let us measure success by the clinic, not the conference. The only metric that matters is whether a child in the global south has a reasonable chance of survival as a child in the global north. Colleagues, the old global health order built in the aftermath of a different century is tottering. But a new order is rising. And this will be an order that is defined by agency, not aid, by partnership, not paternalism. And it is being built for the mother in the global south, who even as we speak this morning, will be delivering her child under the light of a lamp tonight. In Africa, we have a saying that one who plants the tree does not always sit in its shade. The reforms we are discussing today are for the generations we may never meet. And yet let our seriousness today be the shade they will rest in tomorrow. And so on this note, I thank Dr. Tedros and the WHO for your leadership, and I thank you to be a special guest at this assembly. I thank you for your partnership.
So the president there delivering his speech at the 79th World Health Assembly, and he's been touting some of the successes he's been chalking in this country. I'm certain that we'll bring you more from that subsequently in our bulletin. A few things that he said, I can just run you through. He says that, I'll leave that. You should watch the media bulletin. Yeah, thank you for staying, and let's continue with our conversation earlier. So I was just profiling that MP slightly before, and Alfred, I'll come to you, then Loma, I'll come to you on the question. I was just profiling him. You're telling us about some of the things that you're doing, and you said, were you surprised at the allegations at all?
Yeah, I was a bit shocked, but not surprised. Yeah, the way he was picked up, thanks to the education of my dear sister and the Lom, I think now I've understood that, yes, anybody at all, apart from maybe the president and the vice, can be picked.
I didn't help in
education. You didn't even contribute.
I hear.
So, you see, the danger for me, and what I am afraid of now is that other countries can now start red flagging our MPs. That is what is.
How will they do that if you've not done anything?
Well, you see, Alfred raised something that I told him, listen, if you try that in Ghana, we'll be in trouble. Because
like what?
When I wanted to become a DC, right after my name went into the vetting committee at the regional level, once you get to the national level, they start checking your background.
Who are they?
National security will do it, ENI will do it. So it's part of, especially when the 3 of us, our names went to the president for nomination, they did digging for like almost 1 month. This small deputy cry I wanted to chop. They took 2 weeks to go and dig my DC profiles.
Exactly.
But the irony, and sorry to cut.
We do it.
But
We
the
do it.
irony
They don't do that
about
for our MPs.
No, they do. The irony is, and I know this for a fact, but our security agencies do have profiles of MPs and people who come to their attention because people complain. So it's either the public that complains or international departments that complain, etc. So they keep these files. But the irony is, government really acts on it. So you've got dossiers of information about so many people, and that is why perhaps the US handled it the way they did.
Can I thus say that some of the investigation bodies in this country are not surprised? Like Yoko is not surprised. They probably have something. They know something.
Yeah, FIC
They're not surprised.
So you see that they're all not talking.
It's the action of who will take that action. And if government is not willing, does not have the will to take that action, then their counterparts, FBI, CIA, etc., will assist in getting them out.
But you see, Emefa, I was saying that earlier, we have some precedents, okay? So if we take Haja for example, like I said, she was in Ghana. I'm sure the US knew about her being in Ghana and everything. But she was first detained in the UK when she traveled. The Amwatin case that we've talked about, famous, which is also similar because he was an MP and so on. He went to the US voluntarily and he was arrested when he got there.
It's not that he had any drugs on him.
He was arrested when he went to the facility.
Which facility? Where was the facility?
But she's not a politically exposed person.
No, not even for the Hajj. No, Amwanti was an MP.
Yes.
He was a sitting MP at the time when he was arrested as well. Yeah. And I even know of another case where there was someone who... Nayele's one was UK as well. Yeah. She was also arrested when the plane arrived. She was arrested and taken out the flights before even everybody... But not even that alone. I know another case, and this is also, it's not a public figure, but when they were in the US, they entered, they were doing their normal business, and then their spouse applied for a visa, and then included the fact that this is my spouse. So immediately they made a connection, and the US has information that that person was involved in some criminal activity. Do you know they revoked the person's visa immediately? Even though they were actually in the US already. Because they know how to make the connections between. So I think even this point was made earlier by Amanda that I think they are 32 million is not one person. It can be a one person.
Yeah, they are just for now. They will want you to mention all the
players. That's other people involved in.
Myself, I've suffered that before.
Have you?
Yeah, because in 2015. 2014, 2015.
What's the matter?
I was arrested. I was actually denied visas because my wife was working for a senior Pentagon analyst.
So they know how to connect.
So I was denied visa 3 times.
But you didn't understand.
I was fighting it.
Alfred, why are you attempting to tell his story? It's his story.
When they are denying certain things, they'll tell you that they have the right to refuse.
Ask for visa.
The details of why they...
No, it was when the foreign ministry in 2016 wrote to them that you are denying this government official on a service passport.
Yes.
Okay, then
my spouse name came in that, my spouse is there, what.
Honestly, what about this? I think that America always knows.
No, they have a lot of
America always knows, but have you landed so that I can go to Alfred?
His landing is that they thought he wouldn't come back because when they look at him, your spouse is working there, so why would they deny you?
I didn't even see that
coming to this case, I think it's very unfortunate. It's a bad reputation for us as a country because if we have such happenings, that your MP can just be arrested outside. I don't think it's good image for this country, especially in where he was arrested. He was wanted by the US officials. I don't know whether he's in US now.
No, his lawyers have said that they're going to be fighting the extradition.
Not even US.
They're just transiting to
They'll fight it.
Yeah, he was transiting.
Definitely they'll fight it.
His lawyers are fighting it.
For this to happen to us, I don't think it's good. And that brings us to the point where I stated earlier on that I think even after we get some of our people or our MPs elected, like they do for the ministers, there should be a background check.
Okay.
To see whether some of these things or things you've done in the past, whether it will go against us. Because if you are not careful, we'll get people coming from outside. They come in naturalized.
Even the double passport issues,
yes,
with the Adamu Sakande and even Jachi Kwesin, like
Jachi Kwesin, all these things. You see, we'll get people coming from outside, having enough money, spreading it across, becoming MPs, and maybe their background could be questionable. So we need to do an extra job. I think Parliament should add it to the... When I was employed first...
Should Parliament do it or Electoral Commission?
Parliament in collaboration with Electoral Commission and the National Investigation Bureau.
Okay.
But even that can be politicized because you could want to change the numbers of
that's where the
MPs.
Danger is.
So you say, by the way...
He's saying once you get into Parliament,
you see, when they give you the parliamentary form, they should state it there. And that is how we should look at progressing in life. They should state it there that you elected doesn't mean that they can't do background checks on you. And if they find anything faulty, first they'll inform you, they will get every necessary thing. And if it needs to be revoked, you will be revoked. They should let you know as a
already know. But the question is, what if they already know?
The other thing is that it's about, let's take a step back again. This thing has happened in the Netherlands. The truth is that it can happen even in Ghana. Let's be clear. I think that's what Emefa was asking earlier. There is no immunity from crime, even in Ghana, when you're an MP. We've had many cases where MPs have been prosecuted before. The only limitations are dealing with how they are, when they are on their way to Parliament and so on, when they are arrest related to that. But you can even be invited, placed under arrest, and the charges will be filed. We've had many cases. We've had, for example, there are two forcing cases. He was a sitting MP when the case was going on. We've had, Mama Yaga's case. We had many. Even recently, under the oral, there was, a number of, investigations. Yes, I've arrested and all of that. So when it comes to crime, there's no immunity either in your own jurisdiction and our jurisdiction. So that one, we have to be very particular about it. And as I'm saying, the approach that will be adopted may be based on every specific case and what challenges they anticipate and so on and so forth. Because this same U.S. government has made requests to Ghana for extradition. Now they are using our approach in this instance as well. So we have to be. So
final question on this though. So if he's not extradited from the Netherlands to the U.S., he won't be charged. He can't be charged. Will he be charged?
He can still be charged and tried in absentia because the reason is because now that he's in the Netherlands, he's been arrested there. He will fight his extradition based on Netherlands law. So let's say he's successful in fighting the extradition and court agrees that he cannot be extradited.
So he can come back.
He'll come back to Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he'll come back to Ghana. But it doesn't mean that the US. But let's land here. It doesn't mean that the US will not still go ahead with the prosecution.
They can still.
In fact, they can even make because you see.
But you've been calling for trial of
in absentia. We've made the same argument.
So they can also do that.
The US can do that regardless of the fact that you are not even in the jurisdiction.
How long?
I have another question as well. Will be.
And what happens to his seat? Does it become vacant after some?
It's a question I've been asking since. I think it could take a year or two.
That one. No. So the
after 15 sittings, he's in trouble.
Right? So the 15 sittings that's the standard rule in Parliament. But of course, you can. Yes, the speaker can, of course, grant exit. So, for example, assuming an MP is sick for more than 15 sitting days, it doesn't mean you lose your seat. It is based on getting the.
In fact, the Reka Martin case, I think it traveled a little over a year.
Oh, it took a while. Martin's case took a while. So it's about whether, in this particular case, I'm sure through his lawyers, he will make a request for.
So, final question, really. America has this policy: leave no one behind. Leave no man behind.
But that's for the.
I don't know. Well, true though. But even so, their citizens, it may not be accepted. They won't say clearly that leave no citizen behind. But you see America protect their citizens. Even when you get to the airport, a Ghanaian who is even an American citizen have a passport, you see that it's quite like when COVID came.
But that's exactly why I was bringing up the point that moving forward, it might mean we look at how we extradite in general.
Yeah.
In terms of if even Sierra Leone, which has less of a negotiation, cards on the table with America, does not extradite that easily and ensures that there are extra steps, even if there is a treaty, the Attorney General will have to rubber stamp that, and then they go through a long court process. And then if there's no extradition treaty, like I think Belgium or Netherlands is finding with Sierra Leone right now, they're trying to get a drug pin out. They don't do it very easily.
Okay.
Sort of thing.
So I'm not condoning any form of crime in any way, but could IOCO or any of these investigative bodies say that you're a diplomat? We have seen that you're coming to travel. Don't go, like they can't see that at all. Like, don't you think the fact that you want to bury it before you laugh about it.
On one basis, IOCO is supposed to be fighting crime.
I agree. I'm saying that principle.
But one thing is on this case,
I'll
give you a clear example. When the former Bost MD was traveling, he was never told that he was on red alert, so he shouldn't travel.
He was never told.
He was never told.
No, you won't be told.
He got to the airport and they came to arrest him.
It's the silence.
You are not supposed to travel.
It's not that you are not supposed to travel. What happens?
You are on red alert.
So let's say in Ghana, the security, let's say IOCO is investigating you. They can do the investigation without talking to you in the beginning. They want to get a lot of background information.
Okay.
But they also know that they have enough maybe to proceed, but they're still waiting for a few more details. Then they will notify Ghana Immigration Service and put you on the no-fly. Yeah. So that in the event that you want to leave before they are ready, you'll be stopped. I know somebody.
Wouldn't he be better if he was held at the airport by immigration by his own law?
That one is Ghana.
It's Ghana's money. It's America's money.
No, it's not money. It's about who is giving the alert. So for example, I had a client once who was going for a conference in South Africa. He didn't know anything. He's just an ordinary guy. He wasn't even a political figure or anything. When he got to the airport, they told him he's on the no-fly. And then they arrested him. Because they'll arrest you, actually. You're not just going to say you're on the no-fly list. So go.
They'll cuff you.
They'll cuff you. Wow. And they took him. When we went, what was the issue? Apparently, many years ago, he formed a company with some foreign nationals, Indians. He was a director. They registered, and then they had GRA registration. Apparently, at GRA, that company hadn't paid taxes for years, and they had gone through the process, and they were trying to deal with them. He had left as a director, but on the records at GRA, he was a director. That's why he was on a no-fly. When we went into it, the next day went to Office of Registrar of Company. We got a new profile. His name was not on it. We sent it to GRA. He was released. That's how you can easily be on the no-fly list, because any of the institutions that have any... where they have crimes, potential crimes, prosecutorial, they can all of them notify.
No, but the actual fact is, because the U.S. didn't communicate this to IOCO, that listen, this person is under investigation.
They're not obliged.
You want to arrest him.
Are they obliged?
They will not. No, they will not.
They're not obliged.
But how does this look like for the whole oral campaign? Because if oral is centered on crime fighting and, particularly financial and economic crimes, etc., etc.
The oral is crime against opponents.
How will this look?
But this money is not for Ghana.
Uses every resource to get this man back without being questioned by U.S. authorities or answering the question of did you or did you not, etc. You know what I mean? I think Ghana's going to have a mirror. Ghana's going to have a mirror on its face.
Let me help you on that. If we say you have caused financial loss to the state, mostly it's about GOG funding.
No, but it's about crime as well.
We don't normally go after the donor funding. No, we don't investigate that.
No, but this is also about crime. If Ghana is so keen on fighting crime, why can it not allow its own citizens?
So we are not fighting. We are dealing with the diplomatic courtesies and some of the issues that, listen, you could have informed us.
Yes.
So why didn't you inform us?
Yes, I know.
Why did you have to go and plaque an MP just as if he's an ordinary person? So those are the things being dealt with.
So should he return, and he doesn't have to answer that, it would also mean that every MP, every Council of State person is so blanketly protected that nobody has a right to go after them.
That's what I'm saying. That Ghana is going to go down the route they are thinking where they are going to say it should, no.
Give me this and
you go through the process.
Okay, so Alfred, you were quite concerned about your light.
Yeah, before we get there.
You're not concerned anymore?
No, I'm very concerned.
I'm concerned about the bigger issue.
Why have you got some responses from people who told you that, yes,
Sorry?
Have you got some responses
No, the
from people
ECG
who
is the
told you
next
that?
topic.
But I'm telling you that I can confirm that with an area on what on matter.
Talked about the
Cafe.
And you see, that is the same concern NPP has been raising. That, you can invite people to Yoko and wherever you want. But this arbitrary handcuffing when you meet people that, you are wanted, so we are handcuffing you, you don't think it's right. When you think it's not right for the MP.
In what circumstances would a police cuff you? In what circumstance would a police cuff you? In what circumstance will a police cuff you?
Let me have it. When you have to be placed under arrest, legally, if they don't do it properly, it can even be challenged. So even if you voluntarily go to the police station, they have to show that
when they put the handcuffs, shows that you are legally arrested.
In law, that is the threshold. You have to show that you have put the person under arrest legally. Otherwise,
under arrest, you can go to counterback.
No, that's an invite. That is an invite.
You've not seen anybody bring you cocoa as counterback before. Anyway, let's go to the IMF. Let's talk about the IMF sort of encouraging Ghana to fast track the decision to privatize some parts of ECG, if that's the right word to say. TUC is pushing back at it. What I know is, of course, they're not asking an outright sale of ECG or handing ECG over to a private company outrightly and all of that. Faiza, I'll come to you on this, and then I'll go to the energy analyst as to whether this is just IMF being a big brother as usual, or they think that.
No, Emefa, I think IMF normally doesn't look at our political, geopolitical, emotional effects of decisions that they make. They just make theoretical and economic decisions. But in Ghana, we have to make both political, economic, and even emotional decisions. Do you get it? So, yes, we all know the biggest challenge in our power sector is the transmission and distribution. Especially distribution is our biggest headache, because we are doing close to, Elon, correct me if I'm right, we are doing close to about 28 to 30% distribution losses. You get it? So it means we produce 100% power, we generate 100% power, we are transmitting that 100% through GridCo. Then ECG is supposed to distribute that 100%. Between ECG and GridCo, we lose about 10% in the transmission.
That one, why?
I don't know how it happens. They'll be the only people to tell us. Then ECG, take the 90% and give it to Ghanaians to power their things. ECG loses about 20 to 25% again. As to how they lose it, only God knows.
When ECG was doing
So when we are going to collect the bills on the energy that we have consumed, already before we collect the bill, about 30% is lost. So we are even collecting bills on just 70%. So it means Energy Ministry or maybe government has to now go and look for another money for ECG to use to actually do their operations. And that is where the challenge is. So when the IMF guys come, they are not looking at that. They see inefficiencies. They say, but why are you making so much losses? Then it means somebody is not taking the right bills, or somebody is allowing people to bypass, let's say, emitters unnecessarily. Okay, then give it to a private person, just like PDS came. They were supposed to come and rectify some of these things. But we all know what Alfred and his people did to us with that thing. So, for me...
You want to go there?
No, because it's in court. So, for me, yes, in the economic of scale, it looks right to say that, listen, even if it is the billing system that we will outsource to somebody who will now pay attention and say, pay the right consumption amount. Listen, there is a leakage here. Track it and block that leakage. Somebody is bypassing meter here. We all know a lot of things are going on. But you have to take political and economic decisions at the same time.
So is this the collection that you want?
For me, you see,
what's the government promising?
What exactly is the government promising?
Government hasn't made any promise yet, but government decided to fix some of the leakages.
You made a promise.
You see, one, to make sure that in the distribution chain, most of the old transformers will be replaced. Once that is replaced, at least distribution will be a bit stabilized. But the major issue had to do with the billing system. That is where we are losing money. And that is, I think that is where IMF is also looking at and saying, listen, you are producing so much, you are spending so much to produce. Why are you not collecting the same back? Because you are supposed to even make profit. Why are you making losses? And then government now has to come and support ECG to even pay IPPs. So that is where the challenge is. So for me, yes, I understand TUC will always fight job securities because they fear that if a private person takes over, he will sack all the staff. That is what they fear. So yes, TUC is right, but then government must also look at what is the best way after solving all the machines that you are supposed to provide. How can we sanitize our billing system, and how can we deal with the bypassing and the illegal connections? How can we deal with those aspects?
Okay, Lom, please help us understand something. What exactly is causing the 10% loss between GridCo and ECG? And why are we trying to fix the problem at the end and not from the beginning? If there are losses, why aren't we fixing that, or it's not solvable?
Well, it's solvable to a certain extent, but also the entire chain itself has been worked on for many, many years. So, for example, the last NDC administration before this one already started working with the U.S. government on the Millennium Challenge program. A significant part of that funding was to reform the energy sector, which continued into the MPP administration. And of course, we are still back at that conversation right now. The reason is because the energy sector challenges is the greatest threat currently to the economy of Ghana. The entire IMF program we've just completed is about $3 billion. The energy sector debt alone is about $3 billion. So you can see that the energy sector is a big problem and will continue to be until we solve the problem significantly. So you ask the question, why are we trying to solve it at the end and not the beginning? The truth is that technically, if you transmit power from a generating company, ultimately to a distribution company, or even to our homes, you will lose some no matter what, because it is technology. Like the fact that the cables have to carry the power alone, you lose some of it. So that one is understandable. There's technical losses. Of course, depending on the type of procurement you've done, the quality of the equipment, the type of investment, you can reduce the technical losses more and more. There are equipment you can put in, for example, on the GridCo side, to reduce the losses as well. You can do it on the ECG side and so on and so forth. So that one is something that can be done, but still there will be some losses because it's natural. You can't carry power from Accra to Tamale and then what you left Accra with will be the same that will reach Tamale. There will be losses along it just because of the distance, the heat, the lines, the capacity and all of that. But the big part is commercial losses. Commercial losses, we are talking about stolen power, thefts, and that's a big part on the ECG side. Thefts.
That's because it's expensive. I'm not making a case for them. It's not because it's expensive. If people could afford it, would they steal? Well, other people just have appetite to steal.
I don't think they just have the appetite to steal. Okay. And there may be many reasons why people will steal, but guess what? We just talked about this. Crime is not crime. Crime cannot be condoned in any way. If you have a challenge with paying your bills, there are other ways in which you can deal with it. Many things you can do to reduce your bills and even reduce your consumption. But that's the thing. Commercial losses should not be tolerated under any circumstance because that means that it is a deliberate attempt to steal from the state. So again, the idea that we can lose about 20 to 30% just along the way, and significant part of that being commercial losses, means that
the government should focus on how it will mitigate the 30%, but for the commercial losses can be worked on in real time.
Yes, but the commercial losses are not easy
to be worked on.
As well, because, you know, you need to have a lot more investment in the sector for ECG to notice easily when theft is being carried out. So you go in the past, we've done some attempts to go around, catch people. And
they still do it?
People, yes, and then people have to report and so on.
And some are large industries, large companies.
Big consumers. Yes. So we are not talking about small companies and so on. Some are like really huge. But that's the thing. If we had certain levels of investment, it should be noticeable right from the beginning. But that's a lot of money. And you just talked about cost. The more we invest in the energy sector, the more the bills will go up because it's about cost. So at any point in time, it's optimizing what we can do.
Do you envisage the privatization of it that the IMF is asking for?
Which is the reason why it took us back to the Millennium Challenge. What IMF is saying is not new. Over 10 years ago, we've been talking about the need for privatization. And the privatization has many models. At least the current government, we know, is focusing on PPP, public-private partnership and concession approach, which is also one of the approaches you can use. Basically to give out concessions out of ECG's area. So right now, the entire southern part of Ghana is under ECG control, right? It's a huge area. In fact, ECG is at the center of almost every problem in the energy sector.
Yeah, because we consume bigger here.
Yes, in the south. So the government's proposal is to reduce the ECG size into smaller concessions where private people can participate. So
is
the government has been clear. Sorry?
Is that feasible? Do you think the government should stay on that? That's where I want to go.
It is very feasible.
It
is not out of place. I mean, the one that happened previously, for example, PDS took over the commercial and business aspects of ECG, and ECG retained the assets, But even that one is one model, right? And that one obviously didn't work out, but now we have another opportunity. So now the goal is to do smaller concessions within the ECG. So instead of having one big entity like PDS taking over, you have about 20 or 15. More manageable, easier to focus on and deal with the issues. Then that one, if you have a smaller area like, let's say, Greater Accra, you should be able to be on top of the collections.
Okay.
You should be able to identify your theft points and all of those better and so on. So it's workable.
Alfred?
Yeah, him talking about the ECG, one of the biggest problems they have, which I've identified, is the metering. Before you get a meter, you have to pay sometimes 3,000, 2,000 plus.
That's if you want to go. That's if you want to jump the queue, or.
No, to get the meter itself, the meter is...
They'll tell you, ECG will tell you that they don't sell the meter.
No, they sell
ECG will tell you they don't sell the meter.
They sell it. Don't sell the meter.
Do we sell meters?
They don't sell meters.
But what do they do? What do you pay for?
No, so that one you are talking about, that's corruption, where somebody... where you have to go see somebody.
Like Gorobo, if you want to jump the queue, right?
But especially those houses where they have the split systems, a lot of them are complaining they are not getting the meters.
Wow.
Because of these payments. And I have always said that,
the easiest thing
for you to pay that much before you get a meter fixed for you, then why wouldn't the person, go free?
Between the time you get the meter, you're put on a flat rate, are you not?
Depends.
Depends on what?
ECG. And
it depends on you going to ECG to tell them that I've applied for.
You can even stay there for how many months, weeks, and they don't even mind you, or they don't tell you what is happening.
Okay, so what should we do?
Privatization. It's a wonderful baby that has been on the table for years. Whether we like it or not, it will get to a time they'll have to look at how they can privatize it. But I believe that they can go on the stock markets, they can get local participation and everything. You don't need to bring people outside to come and do this. Like my brother said earlier on, you can get smaller companies to run like the PDS system that happened. And that is something that we should look at again. The mere fact that there were challenges doesn't mean that we should throw it down the table and call it a bad name. We should look at it, see the problems that occurred and why it was discontinued, and see how we can solve it and make sure that this thing happens. Because whether we like it or not, the more times you go to the IMF, the World Bank, and wherever, the more times they'll tell you that, listen, privatize ECG. And I believe, and I would always state that we have enough sunlight to go solar. My candidate, presidential candidate, Dr. Baumia, has stated that he wants to add 2,000 megawatts of solar power onto the grid. And what that is going to do is to reduce the payment of electricity by 50%.
But until he gets power, what should we be doing?
I'm giving them a solution that they can they can take his idea and start implementing it. It's ages. When he comes in and he adds another 2,000 or 3,000 megawatts, it's going to still bring power down. And that is what is going to help us. If we don't go that tangent, people will always come and tell us that inflation has gone up by 3%, but ECG will go up by 29% or 24%, as they want to put it. They will always, year on, increase electricity charges. Because once there's a shortage somewhere, once there's a slippage somewhere, someone should pay for it. And it will be the old people on board that will still be paid. So they should take the idea of Dr. Bawumia, if they want to help this country, and implement it so that people's electricity will be reduced. It will help all of us.
Okay.
It's my thinking.
Amanda, I want you to tell me what TUC is probably not seeing or what they're seeing. I understand they want the job security, but where we are, we all face the electricity problem. And if they're assuring us that this is the way to go so that we can pay much affordable bills, what should we do as well?
Kofi Capito said I should tell you have to buy the meters. It's not free.
Sorry?
Kofi Capito.
I'm speaking what is the law or what I'm not saying that it's not happening. But I'm not saying it's not happening. What I'm saying is that if you want
I've never known that it's for free.
I don't know if there's some. It's supposed to be. So that ought to be.
No,
what ought to be and what is happening.
When you fill the forms and everything, they tell you that you have to pay so much.
I'm saying
that. If you are taking the right route.
So call out ECG, but I'm just telling people what ought to be, not what I think is happening now.
Have you seen anything where that ECG meters are for free?
No, are you hearing me? So I'm saying that ordinarily. It's ECG's property. How do you pay for ECG's property?
It becomes your property, but still shared property.
Anywho, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The energy analysts and all of that. Yeah. But
so the question again?
The question is, TUC is concerned about this the privatization. Mm-hmm. They are concerned about if there's a takeover, people are going to lose their jobs and all of that. But the problems are very real. How should we balance it?
I mean, I think they should ultimately look at other countries where it's worked, where it hasn't, and why. For instance, Sierra Leone privatized and it didn't work. You sit in a hotel room in Sierra Leone and the light goes off like 37 times. You count throughout the night. And even, the hotel has to collapse their generator to put in solar panels by the next time you come in. So privatization certainly did not work in Sierra Leone. And it's all about reducing losses, enforcing collections, protecting consumers, and stopping political interference. So if the solutions can lead to that, then fantastic. But, Sierra Leone does remind us that regularization, strong contracts, and political discipline really matters, as well as, private sector participation. And I think World Bank has also taken some studies on this, and they say that privatization, labor productivity, and distribution loss reduction happens when you privatize, but it won't work if, for instance, the state keeps the debt, politicians keep control of the tariffs, and government agencies do not pay bills. So it's not going to necessarily work just because you privatize.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you do it, because state ownership without accountability fails, and privatization without regulation also fails. So.
That is really quite clear. This is how we end the news review. Listen, before you're tossing and turning in your chairs at home, I've paid for ECG meters many times. In fact, I still pay for one for somewhere. So I know that there's something that ought to be. So maybe ECG should come out and give us some education. When you pay for your meter, what exactly are you paying for? Is it for no, I'm not talking about the Goro one. I'm not talking about bypassing and all of that. Now you pay a lot. Handling charges plenty will be in there, right? But there's some education that we need.
Handling charges or connection charges, the amount involved is
a lot.
Officially, it's a lot.
The official one is how much currently?
Between 969 to 6,000. Depending on the phase,
no phase connection.
Depending on the phase of the area and everything. Because they look at the lines that they have to put in place. Now, if you tell an ordinary Ghanaian who is getting 2,000 Ghana cedis a month as salary to go and pay about even 2,000 or 3,000, So they use the whole monthly money to do that. Why can't we do it in such a way that, listen, your initial thing, even though we are doing it for you for free, is spread over maybe 2 years or 3 years. You will get people connecting more.
Okay,
and
than
saving
to bypass it.
Yes, than to bypass it. And
All
I
right.
think these
Thank
are
you.
things we should think outside the box and make it work.
Thank
It's
you so
workable.
much, Alfred Thompson. Thank you so much, Lomdo Kwahliza. Thank you so much, Amanda Clinton. Thank you so much, Don Kofuseni. It's been quite a morning. Please stay with us more on the show.
Is your tech holding you back? Feeling lost in a maze of outdated gadgets? Relax. Come with me to Configure.
Magic. Now I've been international fashion designer. No more pencil than talk matter beer. Coffee Ghana. Class in one. Oh, #1.
Ghana, we don't just sell electronics, we transform your life. From office to home appliances and more, we have everything you need to step into the future.
Config Ghana, class in one. Config Ghana, #1.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant #1, let's bring Baby Car. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
By midday, the day has spoken, stories have broken, events have unfolded.
We call on governments and cocoa board to pay our cocoa farmers immediately.
Now it's time to take stock. This is Joy News Today. As it happens, as it matters to you, from Accra to every region, from Parliament to the courts, our correspondents are on the beat, bringing you the latest developments, verified facts, and the context behind the headlines.
This authority is just going to be job for the men. This authority will not affect the suffering unemployed youth.
On Joy News today, there are no fragments of speculation, but a clear picture of where the country stands right now.
Because of Galamsey, Ghanaians voted against NPP for NDC to come and do better. But the better now, no, and
so you can stay informed, stay connected, and stay ahead. Joy News today on Joy News. Independent, fearless, and credible.
All right, welcome back to the AM show. It's a great time to be here. Now, we are going to talk about the Management Development and Productivity Institute. I don't know if you know about it, but this is a subvented state institution under the Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, and has been at the forefront in the provision of management training, consultancy, research, and productivity-related programs and projects. But today we'll talk more about them so you get to know them. I have in the studio with me one man I knew in the university, and it's been a long time coming. Professor Elijah Yendau is the Director General of MDPI. Prof, good morning. So as all is well.
Good morning. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been. It has been.
Yes.
Madam Efua Chemenu Kaiko is Acting Director of Training, MDPI. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
As all is well.
By God's grace.
Prof, let me start with you. So
Sure.
We'll talk about MDPI. What has been your role in improving productivity in Ghana?
Yeah, so thank you. Let me say a very good morning to our cherished listeners. And then before I take this question, let me use the opportunity to extend my heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency the President for giving me the opportunity to help contribute to the overall development and resetting agenda of our country. I would also like to say a big thank you to the Right Honorable Speaker. He has been very supportive in this whole journey of ensuring that MDPI gets to this level. At the launch of the National Productivity Week celebration, Right Honorable Speaker was there, the Chief of Staff was present, they all supported it in kind and in cash. And so I just want to say a very big thank you to them. Okay. Yes, MDPI has been around for a very long time. Wow. It's just that publicity somehow along the line became quite low. And so many people are still doubting whether MDPI is still in existence. Yes, we exist. I was appointed in 2025, somewhere May, when I took over. We initiated a few programs to bring to the fore and then let Ghanaians understand what MDPI had been involved in. And so basically that's what we've been doing for some time now. MDPI generally is into quite a number of areas trying to support both private and the public sector to augment their competencies, you know, in terms of what we do is that we undertake skill audits. We're able to visit agencies. We do some auditing of their skills, identify the gaps, and then design customized training to improve their competencies so that they can actually improve productivity. MDPI is also into the conduct of productivity studies in a way to look at what is working right, what is not working right, so that we can, you know, make recommendations to various agencies and so on and so forth. We also undertake consultancy services, advisory services. For instance, we have been able to support quite a number of agencies to develop their schemes, refine them, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So basically, these are some of the things. So if you also even take the training department, headed by my very good director, Efua, they're doing wonders, they're doing very well. You know, just recently we trained Ghana Port and Harbours Authority on risk management. You know, ports and harbours across the world are generally associated with several levels of risk. So we empower them. We have trained the Bank of Ghana, we have trained Parliament, you know, we have trained even Minister of Finance. Even this year we're in talks with Minister of Finance to see what we can do particularly in the area of attitudes and mindsets change, which we have identified as a major gap that is working against Ghana's progress in terms of transforming the economy.
How do you measure the impact of these trainings?
Yeah, so basically, I think that is the unique aspect of MDPI. We just don't train. We also have a built-in mechanism. After the training, we are able to go back to do what we call tracer studies, to understand whether participants, after having gone through the training, they are actually applying the knowledge, skills, and competencies that we offer them. So that is what we do. For instance, we just completed a Ghana Ports and Harbour training last month. In 6 months' time, we'll go back to Ghana Ports and Harbours to actually understand the trainees, whether they are actually applying these skill sets that we actually gave to them. And then if there are still gaps, we're able to engage Ghana Ports and Harbour, for instance, to see what we can do to fill these gaps. Basically, these are some of the things that we do.
All right, that's a good job you're doing there. Let me bring in Director of Training. Now, what's the theme for this year's Productivity Week, and how significant is this theme?
Okay, so the theme for this year's Productivity Week is transforming mindsets, driving efficiency, the MDPI approach to sustainable productivity for economic growth. Why did we choose this theme? You know, when you talk about productivity, you were talking about, you should first start with mindset, because you can have all the beautiful systems in place. You can have all the policies, whatever in place. But if you don't have the right mindset, you will not be able to improve productivity. So there's that direct connection between, with regards to the theme, in terms of productivity, mindset, and economic growth. That makes it so unique. And we are trying to remind Ghanaians that in order to achieve sustainable economic growth, we need to change our mindset, our attitude towards work, discipline, and all those aspects. So that's the idea behind that.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Now, so when it comes to, I'm sure you have your theme.
Yes.
There are some expectant deliverables you are looking at.
Yeah.
What are these? What outcomes are you expecting?
Okay, so at the end of the day, we are expecting to create public awareness. That strong awareness in terms of why there's the need for productivity improvement. We are also looking at building some strong collaborations with academia, employees, employers, public sector, private sector, and all that. And also to drum in the fact that productivity is not only an economic concept, and that we should look at it as everybody's responsibility. We all have a role to play with regards to that, and also to inspire behavior and institutional changes. So these are the whole expectations that we are looking at at the end of the day.
Prof, let me bring you back in. This is the first time I am hearing about MDPI. Wow. I'm sure several of our viewers are also now hearing about you.
Wow.
So what are your products and services, so that, as you say, you cut across both public and private, and we can tap into them?
So basically, MDPI, like earlier indicated, one, we do management training for various public and private sector organizations. We undertake productivity studies. We undertake research. We undertake advisory services. MDPI, somehow, we are also able to help, restructure an entire organization. Like I just talked about scheme of service, where in terms of buffer stock, for example, the deal is not yet signed, but there's that thinking to see. I think there was a call from the deputy CEO to MDPI to see whether. So this basically we're able to restructure organizations.
That's a sharp guy. So
yes. So basically, these are some of the services that we render. And let me indicate, at the moment, that's just a practical example. At the moment, you realize that as a country over the years, we still haven't been able to measure productivity and then churn out statistics to understand which sectors are doing well, which sectors are not doing well, so that government can take the right decisions to invest optimally. Yes, Ghana Statistical Service once in a while comes out with productivity-related data. So we have big data sitting down there, but we haven't subjected this big data to some rigorous analysis to understand which areas or sectors are performing and which sectors are not performing. So MDP at the moment, we are in the process of rolling out what we call the National Productivity Measurement Framework. What do we seek to do? Okay. We want to look at how productivity can be measured, and then with statistics churn out so that we understand. Okay. So let's say Joy TV is doing well, GTV is not doing well, and so what are the reasons why GTV is not doing well? What can government do to actually support GTV to do well? Okay. Joy FM is doing well. Can we raise their remunerations? Because there has only been this issue about government not paying good salaries, workers going on strikes and what have you. But at the end of the day, what are the statistics?
Okay. All right. So that's something you...
That's something...
But on this week's celebration, is there a message you want to deliver to Ghanaians?
Yes. I just want my fellow Ghanaian people to understand that Ghana is going nowhere. All the good intentions that the government intends to roll out, okay, in terms of resetting the various institutions, ensuring that Ghanaians live better lives, good living standard, what have you. We cannot achieve all these good things if we do not set our minds toward improving productivity in the very organization that we man. Okay. It doesn't matter where you work. Do you come to work punctually? Even when you come punctually, do you really work? Okay. You get a point. Okay. So people get to work, and at the end of the day, they end up they don't do much. Okay. So I just want all Ghanaians to avert their minds to the fact that productivity is the only way out. Other than that, we'll continue to receive the low salaries that we complain about.
All right. Yeah. I'm grateful to you. Our time is up.
Just
10 seconds.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors who have made this National Productivity Week a success. Okay. So we have the Office of the Speaker of Parliament. Okay. They have really supported us. We have Ghana Shippers Authority, Ghana Water Company Limited, and Bank of Ghana. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, too. So much. Professor Elijah Yendao, Director General of NMDPI, and Madam Efua Chebenu Kaiko. Okay, all right. Acting Director of Training, MDPI. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Just before we move on, happy birthday to our dear mother and boss, a very humble, dedicated and determined woman of God, Mrs. Josephine Aiden Akwa, Senior Manager of Ghana Civil Aviation Authority and a member of End Time Assemblies of God in Adenta. Now, on this special day, we say, may the Lord bless you without measure and satisfy all the desires of your heart, Mama. From your son, Isaac Kwame Afrania Boafo, your children and all your loved ones as well. And on behalf of Joy News, we say happy birthday to you, Mrs. Josephine Aiden Akwa. Now, 5-year-old Miguel Intifol should be in school learning. Instead, he is in a race against time to survive brain tumor that has forced him out of school and left him struggling to walk. After one emergency surgery, Miguel now urgently needs 53,000 cedis for another operation. Florence Aho Dagbe traveled to Gomwa to meet him and has come through with this report.
It's a non-living thing. Yes, example. Chairs, clap for her.
In this classroom at Blessed Little Angels School, 5-year-old Miguel Intifo has not been in school for the past 2 months.
Dog, no.
Now, instead of running around with friends or learning in class, Miguel spends most of his days at home. Walking has become difficult. Sometimes he struggles to keep his balance. Miguel's mother, Joyce Donko, says it all started with complaints of headache after school one Friday.
Friday, a week na 6 March tamaso. Office school by no sama miti. Ma miti. Ti e mami e quadros to pe pale ade man. The complaint was a Friday no. Saturday, Sunday, Monday no because school no sorry na pa. Na nimnya peja. Daddy, I didn't know you. The person who paid was some of my soul. I didn't know. No, we were screening what we met on idea. And mother, small my friends. Began by a down or that many young. Somebody have no hospital. And Madame and Mamma, me too, me shop, me do a new crowd. Training ya, do. No, send me too. Na me de no call. Offense. Hospital we were. Otebi krom. Na me de no call.
At the hospital, doctors ordered scans. The results revealed a dangerous condition. Fluid building up inside Miguel's brain. Doctors later explained a tumor growing at the back part of his brain was blocking the normal flow of fluid and creating pressure inside his head. The first surgery was to drain the dangerous fluid from Miguel's brain and reduce the pressure. But the cost was overwhelming.
See, surgery near 200 million. 200 million. 100 million basa. No, say me count some sadam. Papa ni jina wa yedi. Na manadi. Easy. Me floway. Just my bobo. Edwani mpo mindibi. Na aya ni say osuni Bible nko ha. Tais de nudu ye na. Tais de nudu ene mami. Madam, me be. Nenino. We kwese. Udini jina ho a onjina. Atisa mesesa no. Ena doctor penin no ba say. Maybe I blame to one one a control ni peduana. Wa dwani che say kwa ha. Obekwa. I want to say no.
The school contributed. Church members also stepped in. Small donations slowly came together.
Yami aduma, I'm suffering pastor by kakranka discussion with my madam. Mami Joyce, yanyebi, I saw my to inside me 51 million. One bunko to do me bed in Pastor Medasati. Friday no me fa. I'm before the no quay. The baby done 2 minutes. Some trains or dimbe baba. I did bet me down home at 4 o'clock. And I didn't mammy under. And most empire body if I don't quite 3 o'clock and one family game, mammy. There, Diana, or do open neighbor. Mr. Cross, the random that was sick.
But for Joyce, the relief did not last long. Miguel now needs a second surgery to remove the tumor itself. And once again, the family is struggling to raise the money needed to save his life. This time, the surgery will cost 53,000 cedis.
No, the mistake one the mistake. Mommy, in a maker fa. I'm a for one woman. Make up for the mistake way. Make up for the mistake way. Quasha be here today, me mammy. And the man sent me out to them skate them easily. Like to teach you know, my mammy won't permit me that. I will forget 5 years. 5 years. 5 years old boy. And then, me had a crack. It's a slag off. Oh, blah, my blah. Just say, oh, you are crying. Henry sits no yamma. Taste no yamma. The Sassicam Bob one. I consider Ben Mayans as second.
While other children return home from school every day, Miguel can only watch from a distance. The classroom he loved now feels far away.
His friends sometimes ask of him, they get bored and they miss him too. So sometimes they become bored without him because he's very playful.
For now, Miguel's school bag remains untouched, and the future his mother once imagined for him hangs in uncertainty.
na wan bo mama yi baby ya mo bo no mi so onje mi be mam me be fi me sa me be no boko.
For Joyce Donko, every day has become a race against time, death, and fear. For Miguel, it is a battle to return to the simple life he once knew. School, football, friends, and the dream of growing up to become somebody someday.
Na dachu nyo peso yedin. Soja. High five. Yeah.
For Joy News, Florence Ahodagbe's reports from Gomwa in the Central Region.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
Good morning, guys. My name is Derek Elom Ashlevi, and I love doing this segment called In the Trends with this beautiful lady,
Jacqueline Ansuma Yopua. Derek, have you eaten this morning?
I haven't eaten, but when I saw you in the montage, you were very young. Because
I mean,
you know,
I'm loaded with a lot of gist today, so
wow. Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Beautiful. It's a segment where we give you the stories that made headlines over the week, you know. And the first of it is Abu Trika, popular guy, you know, who was sometime arrested for some romance scam.
Yeah.
And it got people really talking. But Jackie,
alleged.
Alleged. But Jackie, what is the story? What makes it, you know, a trend today?
Well, you know, his story has been back and forth. He was not, they were not able to secure a bail for him. Then finally, they got a bill which was supposed to be 30 million Ghana cedis.
What's it?
30 million.
Wow.
I mean, it's not US dollars, but it's Ghana cedis. So,
but Jackie, it's
a small amount of money. But then social media, a lot of people have been expressing their thoughts on it, especially when his lawyer, Oliver Bakavomo, posted a picture of him reuniting with the family. And I mean, it was such an emotional moment, seeing they threw powder on him. You know that thing where someone comes out of prison, then they throw the powder on him to, I mean, make sure that the person is... So that's what you see on the screen right now with the son, a lot of people talking about it. But that case is far from over, though. Even though he secured the bail. The case is still ongoing. They're still doing investigations. We know that last week, twins, Lancaster, and arrangements we hear that they've also been arrested and all that. A couple of new developments regarding the romance scam syndicates in Ghana is still trending. Okay, but on social media, people talk, you know. Yeah. So what is I Am Born Blessed saying? Yeah, he says that, he met a 30 million, well, he says US dollars, but it's Ghana citizen still condition. Charlie Abucheka is rich, but the judge is wicked, though. Giving him a 30 million bill condition is too much. What has he even done to deserve this? Ghana, Mook says that, Ghana for you. Bonstana says he wear the Air Force keeper. I mean, he's always used to. Probably he has a lot in his closet. You people, when someone wears a dress, Emefa, someone wears a black dress, you come and say that, hey, Emefa, or pattern black in his show. They don't realize that. Yeah. That's what he was trying to say here, that he wear the Air Force keep. And Escalade says that, I don't know why, but I feel some sympathy for Abu. I just pray this case dies off and he also learns his lessons. He should thank his woman, Pam, for she has done so well. They did a whole demonstration in solidarity to him for them to release him and all that.
Beautiful. Now, there's a part where I am interested in. Guess what? Ghana got the opportunity to host the African Elected Senior Championship. And many things happened. Yeah. It got people really talking. And the first of it is that, well, many negative stuff happened. Food. Like, it doesn't make sense. In fact, the complaints were that some of the food were too little. Some of the portions were little, were not as much as they are used to.
I saw a video where one of the athletes was saying that he was given half an egg. Sometimes he's given one egg. In his home country, sometimes he eats like 20 eggs in a day. Wow. So that one day, my brother, 20 eggs in a day.
No, he's not lying.
No, I get he's not lying, but... Coming for a competition,
Okay, Jackie, you know what? Before you hear my personal opinion, let's watch the video about what the athletes had to say about it. We'll bring you comments after that.
Chickens, and then in the morning they give me a half an egg or one egg. That's
half
it.
An egg?
Half an egg or half an egg or one egg. That's it. Not allowed to get any more eggs. I am home. I'm home. I'm eating 20 eggs in the morning. 20 eggs on its own in the bulk. Off season now, in season now, I eat like 8 or 9 eggs. I'm only allowed 1 egg. And then when I was sleeping, I had no blanket. My whole roommates, all of us had no blankets. They said we have to bring our own blankets. So I mean, for all African Games champ, putting us in a hostel without blankets, without food, with warm water. We're not allowed to. We're not getting cold water. There's no fridges, nothing. I expected a lot more. I love Ghana. Ghana is amazing. I'm going to explore it now the next week. Me and my buddy, we're finished now, so we're going to explore it for the next week. But the staying conditions wasn't great,
Yeah, Jackie.
It's
apart from food,
sad, though.
There were other issues.
Blankets.
And we've broken it down. Blanket, we'll get to blanket very soon, you know. But one of the biggest issues, and in fact, I had Fentu, who is one of our editors here on Joy Sports, say that the way we had issues with our time records, because in the first video that you saw, you could see that Joe Paul and the team had finished running. Yeah. And they couldn't tell the exact time. You know, I love watching the Olympics and world athletics. In fact, there's a big screen from Psycho or Omega, where when you run, you make a record, it's displayed on the screen. Everybody sees that you probably set a new record. And look at them. You have to find a tablet and rewind the video to see Charlie. No, I'm a pound first. There be, you know.
Waste of time, waste of time.
And so Fenton makes the point that, look, with the way we had issues with time records, and it's happened before in 2018, World Athletics may not consider...
Yeah, they would probably reject the results.
Yeah, it was one of the big issues. Then guess what? There were equipment failures. Of course, you saw in the video we brought you the poll votes, but the LOC, the local organizing committee, mentioned that as for that, athletes bring their own polls, so it's not their fault. But the starting guns they were using, you know, the 100-meter race, all the races, there's a gun that's a shot to get the race to start. Many times, not once, the guns kept failing. Yeah. And so if there's a false start, it means that some athletes go ahead of the others and they have to retake the race again. And it does something to your morale and your confidence, you know?
All right.
And Jackie, guess what?
Poor media coverage. I walked in this morning with
Muftar asking me, Jackie, why didn't I see you there? I was like, oh, really? I didn't even know when they ended.
And you know a funny thing?
Yeah.
Not only was we are TV guys, so we know what's quality. You know, my day job is a director. So at least I have a fair idea. So by my opinion on this
quality was so poor.
So poor. The number of cameras, the angles, the replays. In fact, when you watch World Athletics, the time is displayed on the screen. Yeah. So we get, very sad about that. And one of the things that even happened was the media guys did not have their own center. In fact, some of the boys like Akosua said it's like as though we are sharing the space with the Jama squad.
Yeah, because they could not really give commentary properly. And I saw another commentary from one of the African reporters, not here in Ghana, saying that this is the first time he's covering such an event where they've not even been given data. So there were data issues, sound issues, and all that. And at the end of the day, it looks like it wasn't a smooth event for both athletes and media people who were
coming to Emefa, did you follow this broadcast?
I'm sorry. I was hoping you guys to bring all the gist, except, of course, I've seen what you guys are discussing. But to know when it happened, how it happened, all the challenges, I'm only reading and hearing from you guys, really. That's how bad the publicity was.
Yeah.
It had bad publicity from beginning to the end.
Yeah.
One of the ways you know that event is probably going to do well is the time at which they start the event. Not even commencing the event itself, weeks ahead of time. Mm-hmm. The Joy Sports team went ahead a week before the Athletics Championship. Mm-hmm. There was no branding.
Nothing.
It felt as though the Legon Stadium was dead. Nothing was going to happen. But, of course, what do we know? You guys had your comments and Jackie ran a story.
Cyrus says that complaining about the amount of egg you get in Ghana is hilarious.
Do you know why it's hilarious? Because it's an egg glut.
Yeah.
And the president is even saying, look, let's give it to the SHS students. If they want to.
Point. So I was telling someone this morning, like, I don't talk Kosia anymore. Yeah. Matthew says that this is really embarrassing. We can't allow ourselves to be embarrassed like this. Come on, Ghana. Enedo says that I know I'm in the minority, but at the end of the African Senior Athletics Championship, inquiries and probes must be done. People must be held accountable and heads must absolutely roll. Consequences of bad decisions and poor planning must take effect. But I know Ghana.
Charlie.
Kingsley, I said it from day one. Even the opening ceremony was, they had an opening ceremony.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the opening ceremony is actually a beautiful one where all the athletes from the other countries come in and walking with a flag and all of that. But when you watch the stadium, let's not,
Lightning was bad. The place was very dark. That was why the rest of the athletes won't leave the USA to come compete. Ghana with a heartbreak.
But for the good, we will also celebrate the good. Our very own Muftar Nabila was one of the top commentators for the event. He did absolutely incredible despite the pressure they were under.
Yeah.
What other story made the headline is what? Exams official inspect WASI students' hair before examination.
Before that, Emefa, during your WASI period in senior high school, were you thoroughly searched? Like thoroughly? To the extent that you had to search your hair?
Gosh, I'm too old. I don't remember. But I would say that yes, I was, including my colleagues, because then if you wear a particular kind of hair that invites the person searching you to want to look thoroughly, they will. If a person has a down cut, there's only so much they can look out for, right?
Yeah.
But if the hair is a bit, then it invites thorough searching.
But Emefa, what makes this story a trend is that it's not a case of we're searching you for probably having a paw. But this is bushy hair. The student that should have cut their hair before the exam. You didn't do that. And so today that you're writing the WASI, a teacher is actually with a pen, pushing it in. If the pen holds the hair. On the day of, and in front of the exams, Charlie, we don't care about the mental health and the preparation of these students. It's almost as if it's a rebuttal. You've been a stubborn student, we get... Yeah. Let me just cool down, Jackie.
But do you have the video? If you have the video,
yeah.
Okay, so that's the video over there. You put them in the person's hair, and you check if
before they go and write the exam. At this modern era, Charlie, Ghana, my motherland. It's a very sad reality. So that's what transpired.
Okay, so it's not one, it's two. This means it's very intentional.
Yeah, very intentional. They do it quite often. But you watching right now, what do you think?
Two things comes to mind, because I see one of them smiling. I don't know whether it is rather actually to ease the tension or to actually increase the tension. Because I see one of the
Yeah.
The invigilator is actually like smiling. So I don't know. I haven't read in anywhere code of conduct that says that you've got to inspect the person's head with a pen before they go and take the exams. I haven't read it.
Yeah,
actually.
Emefa, what makes our concern is the fact that this student is going to probably sit down for WASI. And I have a theory that WASI is the hardest exam in the world before university exam. You are so scared, you're going to write science.
Your face, everything depends on it.
You're very scared of even seeing through the exam, to talk of being sacked to go and get a haircut, But what do we know?
Well, like I said, 2017, I went through the same treatment, St. John's School Secondary. It's a boys' school before we were registered. And the case says that, didn't you hear what the education minister said about the hair? We just concentrate on foolish things. Wow.
Charlie.
One girl says that, what kind of madness is this? Why is the world running and leaving Ghana behind at such a top speed? Mr. Kumsin said that they are checking if any hidden pore is inside their hair. Yeah. Tenable says that, by school there during WASI period, they start being unnecessarily straight towards final year student. Made no sense whatsoever. Shaking my head. Last one here. Charlie, this is embarrassing.
Okay, so I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Let's do just a bit of education. So the dress code for WASI candidates in Ghana depends on whether you're registered as school candidate, writing with the senior high school, or a private candidate. I'm just going to jump. The school candidates requirements, your footwear, only flat, open sandals are permitted. Let me go to hair. I went to grooming.
Okay.
Hair must be clean, neat, and compliant with standard.
Okay.
I mean, complementing the standard Ghana Education Service school rules, meaning low-cut hair for girls unless permitted by the school, and clean, shaved, short hair for boys.
Emefa, I don't disagree with you.
I just, my job is to look at the other side of it for you.
If you did this prior, I'm not sure we're going to have a problem. It's not probably going to trend. We're all done.
I think the duty lies on the school to just prepare their candidates before they get to the exam center.
Yeah.
Because you're likely going to be checked not by your school invigilators, but WASI invigilators themselves. Yeah. So why allow the students to go through all of this emotional trauma before they go and sit for exams?
But thank you for that opinion. You're a smart girl. Beautiful. Now, Jackie showed me a video this morning. Now, when the girl showed me the video, I didn't know what to do. The rains have started. Are you excited the rains are back?
The heat has been crazy last week, but then we realized that yesterday parts of Accra got flooded because of, I think, Dansoman, it got flooded, and Franco and other areas. But then there was a particular video, Emefa, where I think we don't have that video yet, but just give you a visual representation. So in the video, you realize that the passengers were seated in a church-row, but then it was raining inside the church-row. I don't know. I don't know if I'm giving you a pictorial evidence.
Yeah, you are.
Whilst you're sitting in the car, a car is supposed to protect you, like
shield you.
Yeah.
When it's raining.
Yeah.
But they were wet. It was like raining inside the church-row.
Yeah. Are you asking my opinion now? Do I have the floor to say something?
Flo, what do you have to say?
You have the comments. We can take the comments by social media, right?
Okay, let's take comments on that. So Carol said that, some happened to be around Dansoman, and that was the date I downloaded the weather app and bolt. Citizen Kojo Asante says that the thing is funny and sad at the same time. Questman says that it's not about...
Is it not?
So is it not about time the Ministry of Transport established test centers across the nation and make it mandatory for every vehicle to pass a mandatory vehicle fitness test and receive a certificate to drive on the roads? Do we have value for human lives?
Jackie, hold for me. Guess what? Do you know what drivers do at every quarter? There's something called roadworthy.
Yeah.
You go, your car is inspected.
The church was part.
Every year.
Are they parts?
There's a vehicle. Roadworthy are for all vehicles.
No, I know for all vehicles, but are the churches in Accra parts?
They are supposed to be parts. So it's negligence. Somebody perhaps just looked at the car body, or probably somebody just snatched something for somebody.
I think
very sad reality.
That's what they need to be clamping upon, not the other people. Because obviously people who own their private vehicles do that. But for church, this is just one of many. There are a lot of them out there. And even for those who do longer distances, this is even a shorter distance because just Accra, Tabora to Kaneshi.
Yeah.
But people who travel from, let me say, Accra to Akosua, imagine being in a trotro from Circle to Akosua.
Drenched.
In rain. When you're in a car.
You know the funny thing? When it's raining, when it's raining and you are by the roadside, you are looking for a car because
you just want to enter.
You know, so you skip being beaten by the rain outside only to be baptized by the river.
And that's why you're just seated in there, so
you
there's nothing you can do. Last comment here says that, can't stop laughing. The driver self won't laugh. It was funny.
Emefa, what do you have to say about?
I think that, yeah, Jackie, commercial vehicles even have a much more higher standard to meet.
Yeah.
They have a duty of care towards the people, the commuters that, go on board of their car. If you're a private car owner, yes, the safety, roadworthy or all of that. But if you look at it just on the face of it, the commercial vehicles have a much more duty. But we have seen so many cars in this country that without you even subjecting it to what the test looks like at the roadworthy center, you can tell that this car is just like car maybe or what.
Yeah. No seat belts, the chairs are torn. Some of them do not have chairs. They don't have, there's a chair, like the flat stand that you sit on, but there's no back, there's nothing to support your back.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's really hard.
So what's roadworthy are they doing?
But I like to say that, look, it's our country. If you don't fix it, nobody will fix it. And so I know there are road safety officials that you are taxed. It's your day job. You are paid to help us.
And that's from DVLA, right?
Yeah.
It's a center that's created by DVLA. It's under it. It's not really separated from it. It's not that they will come to you. The car must be taken there for them to inspect it to see if it is roadworthy. Then they issue you a certificate that shows that we've inspected for this year. Your car is worthy to be on the road.
I think it's a campaign that we need to champion.
Very much.
Because a lot of people use public transport. A lot of Ghanaians, especially even here in the city, a lot of people use public transport, and day in and day out, their lives are in danger. Yeah. Some of the cars, you sit in, you get a cut, so you have to go and get tetanus.
And the rains are actually about to start.
Yeah, so, it's going to get crazy.
But this story made headlines last Friday. And Jackie, I sometimes do not get it. On my Ghana, before I bring you the juice, maybe you may not get my point of view or my anger. Watch this video first.
Life na traffic light, death na road officer. Stand for the side. Someday we take it green, but hold up you day for your life. Some they go, some they come, why some starting line. One man fall, another man climb. Everybody they shine their eyes. Life na traffic light, death na road officer. Stand for the side. Someday we take it green.
Charlie! Africa!
Charlie!
You go bust your mind.
So what's the story? The story is that, in fact, and I like the search, this is part of the good part of social media I like, where you probably may be committing a crime, and because there's now a surge in social media and phones, people having access to phones, somebody may tape you. And this guy goes to take the community street light. This is solar for a man. A solar one for that matter. And steals it. And in as much as it may be a light no story, we're all laughing about it. It's happened many times. When the Pokwasi interchange was done, many of the, in fact, all the lights we see on our street light that is missing.
Somebody stole it. Transformers.
Like, why do we do this? We steal it and sell it for crap. Well, real light, the coffee, like, it's the child who do one, guys.
I think we do that. Even the metal things on the, I've forgotten the name of it.
The railings.
The railings.
Yeah.
People steal them.
But you see, Derek and Jackie, you have to really determine whether it's the Ebianawafa or Miaye.
He didn't think he didn't have light. He needed something to show them.
So we have seen the act, but we don't know the mens rea. Ebianof or the Kotube, Ebiabu, or the Tube, or keep you at the
guy who took the policeman's armored vehicle.
Yeah.
Honestly, not Testiahe.
The intention, because light there, how do you steal it? It's not possible. Like what I say. Maybe I will change your position.
You see, the thing is that, and just so you know, this group of people, often we call them junkies.
Yeah, okay.
One of the things you notice with junkies is that they are very bold and very bullish. Like they are not afraid of anybody. Recently there was an altercation at a bus stop where one junkie took a knife, ready to stab. He's not scared, and if we give them the benefits of the doubt that probably they have a mental, or the...
That was the same thing that came into my mind. I was like, is the person, we should probably check the mental state of the person, because probably...
But it costs all of us. Oh, we are light, then you financial junction. So
we crying. We crying for like that.
Said there is light at the tunnel. Light at the tunnel now. But that's the stories that made headlines over the weekend. Just know that if it happens, we'll serve you right here. And I like what Ghanaians are doing. Don't sit down for somebody to destroy your beautiful Ghana. And I like the person who took the video. Charlie, we realize, I said, my phone show me coffee, my tam camera, and see me.
That's because I can.
But my name is Derek Elom Ashilevi. Oh, we've not read comments. Jackie Rana still for people.
The first comment says that the guy has a bright future. Hudson says that me carrying my own lights in the tunnel. Last comment here says that the road was dark and he needed light home.
So,
that's what I was trying to say. It was dark.
Okay. Emefa, what do you? Wasn't an act and menstruation? I mean, menstruation.
It's just to say he's in the act. We don't even know. Yeah. He's probably keeping it or something because the light is on.
The light is on.
Solar. So what I say? Until to be, I just say we are not doing something off and today. But honestly, that's bold. That's really
guys. We want to say thank you for always making time every Monday to watch us. And guess what? I saw something on our YouTube. Guess what? Do you know people really watch us?
Oh yeah.
When I look at the videos we upload on our YouTube, people, you love what we do, and we'll go the extremes, the ends, to bring you the stories that make the headlines, and we'll make it very entertaining for you. So you don't have to just, if you probably didn't catch up with all the trends, this is the place to be. I love doing this with Jacqueline.
Asuma.
And a coach,
Oh, you're middle of the month, though.
My name is Derek Elom Ashilevi. Emefa. Take it away.
You guys are so amazing. And don't do what you did last week. Show up next week, Monday. Okay. On behalf of everybody that's been watching us. I know we're all waiting for the Telecel Ghana Music Awards review. You guys swerved us, so don't do that. You owe us that one. But anyway, Derek and Jackie, you're all amazing. But you especially are so amazing for starting your week with us. It's been a pleasure having you on the AM show. I did this with the Ahanta Pele. And of course, please stay for Joy News Desk with Denise Apoma Ej. And I'll see you at 12 for the midday bulletin. I am Emefa, Akosua, Adeti. What a way to start the week.
Everybody defend their lives. Life na traffic light. Death na road officer. Stand for the side. Someday we'll make it green. But hold up, be day for their life. Some they go, some they come. Why some stagnant? One man fall, another man back. Everybody defend their eyes.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.